Welcome to Fujairah, dear viewers. We are here at the first Fujairah Global Chess Championship, and it's already round number 3. It's pretty early morning here, but we have a very intensive day today. We will have double rounds, so we have to start early. We're going to be your hosts, as I believe, throughout the whole event. My name is 𝐒𝐡𝐤𝐬𝐤, and I'm so happy to be joined one more time by Grandmaster VRL 𝐒𝐤𝐻𝐻. Welcome, VRL, one more time.
Yeah, good morning. I mean, it's morning time is always hard for chess players, but okay, we'll get used to play double rounds in the let's say last period, but not very usual for such a strong event. I mean, probably the tournament they coordinated with the Grand Swiss, yeah, because most of the players from here they will go directly to play the Grand Swiss, which is a very important event.
Yeah, and that was the main reason why there was a double round, because originally the tournament had to finish on the 2nd, but then it would be so tricky to get to Samarkand. But yeah, it's nice that organizers also consider that the players have to continue playing the other tournaments. And by the way, as Abhimanyu Mishra was mentioning on the stream, it's a good preparation also for the Grand Swiss, this tournament. But probably let's show an introduction video to the Fujairah Global Chess Festival and be right back with the games.
يا جماعة الحدث اللي اليوم مجتمعين علشانه وايد مهم. جاي أخبركم إنه صار جاهز.
جهز تعالوا جهز.
جهز
تعالوا جهز.
أبوي نزل والمبنى جهز. المبنى جهز. تعالوا يا شباب. جهز.
يلا كابتن.
يلا وراكم جايين توكلوا على الله.
ما شاء الله المبنى حلو، المبنى جميل.
يا جماعة الحدث اللي اليوم مجتمعين علشانه وايد مهم. جاي أخبركم إنه صار جاهز.
جهز تعالوا جهز.
جهز.
تعالوا جهز.
أبوي نزل والمبنى جهز. المبنى جهز. تعالوا يا شباب. جهز.
يلا كابتن.
يلا وراكم جايين توكلوا على الله.
ما شاء الله المبنى حلو، المبنى جميل.
And welcome back. And now we have seen that beautiful video of the Fujairah Beautiful Chess Club, which just newly built. And this is the first inaugurational event of the Fujairah Chess Club. So it's great to see. And by the way, we have already moves on the board. So I guess we can check out from the first board, because there we have Aydin Suleimanli against Pranav V. And these are 2 out of 3 players who have perfect score out of 42 players in this tournament. So it's really exciting to see how it's going to continue.
Yeah, and we have a 𝐤𝐤𝐤. Yeah, once again, but this time with bishop on e7. I mean, usually black plays, I mean, more popular is the bishop on c5 move, castles, knight to c3. Okay, a little bit unusual, I would say. Rook e1 is more common here. Rook e1 to prevent the move d5.
Yeah.
Black plays d6 and white here choose to play a3, a4. I faced myself this position against Giri at the Olympiad. He played the move a3 here and crushed me in 25 moves. Yeah, so okay, so knight c3. This is another move just to stop the move d5. And white is waiting for the move d6, yeah? Now the threat is knight a5.
Does this move knight c3 means that white is not going for d4 just yet? Because usually, as you were mentioning, this rook e1 is being played, an idea of bringing the knight to d2 and f1.
Yeah, it's like more Spanish type of the position. But no, you know, once again, I mean, the knight can go from e2 to g3, and then c3, g4, rook e1. We have the same maneuver, the same idea.
Yeah, maybe just important to highlight this a4 move, because last move of black was d6.
Yeah.
Defending the pawn on e5, so it means knight a5 would be a threat already. So it's super important now for white to make sure bishop goes out. You don't want to trade it very strong light square bishop.
Exactly, yeah. And a6. Okay, I don't know if it's this move is really necessary to do it now, but it's just in case. I mean, normal, typical, let's say, Italian move, yeah. Okay, instead, bishop g4 is more popular nowadays, and I think it was a game of Abdusatturov with black pieces, if I'm not mistaken. Bishop h5, bishop e3, and this maneuver here, like queen d7 or queen c8, I don't remember where exactly, to prevent the move g4.
To sacrifice.
Yeah, and then knight comes to d4, and yeah, we have this. And white played the move king h1. I think it was 𝐒𝐤𝐬 with the idea rook to g1 and still to play g4.
Yeah, big problem for white. The bishop is outside of the pawn chain, can never go back to e2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this was the moves there. Yeah, the game there. So instead a6, and now white is thinking. Yeah.
Why is a6 important?
It's not really important. Actually, I mean, usually black plays a6 only if white continues with a5. Yeah. Let's say just a random move here, like h6. White plays a5, yeah, intending to push this pawn forward. And now a6 is an important move.
Yes.
Yeah, to stop the move a6. But a6 here, well, I don't know.
Or do you think it's some also type of preparation which Pranav did? So playing such move as a6, which probably not the first choice which you're looking when you're preparing this as from white perspective, as you're mentioning, a6 normally is reply to a5. So maybe it's just somehow to try to get the opponent into unknown grounds. But anyway, a6 is played sooner or later after e5. So.
And I want to show to our viewers one tactical trick typical for this position. Let's say white plays just bishop to d2, yeah? Let's say white plays here the move h3, or starts with a5, let's say a5. Black plays the move h6, let's say, which is logical. Knight d5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, and here there is this trick, knight takes a5. Knight takes a5, if rook takes a5, c6. And black is taking the pawn back, then get the bishop, and black's position is better. Yeah, so a6, yeah, one more time just to show this idea. So white played the move bishop d2. So if h3, h6, a5, sorry, it's without h6, yeah, most probably. So a5,
I don't think,
h6,
yeah.
knight e5, yeah? Okay, it's quite logical move, yeah? And then you face this idea. Knight takes, rook takes on c6.
You have to be ready for something
Yeah,
like this.
and actually white played immediately bishop to d2 to prevent all these tricks by, yeah, just defending the pawn on a5 potentially.
Yeah, this is very nice. And we see already that players start to think, spending their time. We see Suleiman Lee spend time on this bishop d2 move. Probably a6 was the first small surprise in the position. But of course, this Italian type of games is just a slow game, and there are many ideas, a lot of maneuvering. So it should be some long strategical battle. Who will push first, d4 or d5?
Yeah, but here is a little bit different. Yeah, with the knight on c3, probably white is just trying to play with knight d5 idea, maybe push b4, b5, or knight e2, and then b4, b5, same idea. Okay, now black can transpose to the idea which was in the game, I think 𝐒𝐤𝐬 Abdusaturov, if I'm not mistaken, bishop h5.
If you want, you can also click on this book, below, just to see, this. And then we will see if there was any game.
No, I mean,
Okay,
with inclusion of
maybe-
a4, yeah.
Maybe it was earlier, yes, instead of
Yeah.
a6.
Instead
We
of
go
a6,
back.
yeah.
Maybe let's try to check, because it's, of course, so here a4.
Here a4
And
and bishop to
then-
g4. Bishop to g4, h3, bishop h5. And what do we have here? Not so
If you
many
scroll
games.
down, yes.
Yeah, this was Honk Abdusaturov, Abdusaturov Aronian, Gukesh Abdusaturov. Actually, this was the game.
Ah,
Yeah, this was the game. Played this year in, or last year in Wake-on
Last year, I
Yeah,
think.
queen c8. Yeah, this is a very important idea. And king h1. This was I was trying to. And rook g1. It was a queen sacrifice later on. I mean, we don't have
somehow
moves, yeah?
King h8 here, you can click on the move. Here.
Yeah, king h8. Rook g1 was played, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, rook to g1 and knight d4.
Yeah, yes. You can just click on these moves here, one by one. Or I think maybe on the game, if you click on the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just, it doesn't show. But okay, we can click on the moves, just on knight d4.
Knight d4,
Yeah, it's just,
g4, yeah, and then we'll see this, first piece sacrifice, and now queen sacrifice. No, not immediate, takes, knight e7, bishop g5, all home preparation, knight c7, bishop h5, another strong move. The queen is jumping to h3 now.
incredible.
And knight h2, yeah, bishop d1, rook d1. And imagine 3 pieces for a queen. Yeah, and okay, I don't know how to evaluate this position. It's really hard even to understand. And okay, it ended in a draw. It was a fighting game.
But we might see such idea in the game. So if we return back to the
Yeah.
position which we have right now, in the game, we will have it including the a6 idea. So because there is a moment now when white can go for this. We can click also on the book, back to left position.
Yeah, so bishop g4, now black is thinking. So bishop g4 now, h3, bishop h5.
So it might be similar with inclusion this bishop d2 and a6.
Yeah. Okay, let's say king h1.
And of course, most of the players know this game, they're familiar with it, so.
Of course, yeah. But maybe this particular, I mean, let's check this. Here, knight d4, g4, and knight takes g4. Ah, yeah, that's a little bit different. So knight takes g4, knight f2 check. Small, because the bishop is not on e3. So there, it was the bishop on e3, black could take the knight. Bishop could take the knight here after king h1. So knight d4, bishop was on e3, white could take the knight and then jump knight d5. Okay, so I believe that after bishop g4 here, yeah, black is thinking. It's a better version for black.
So we can say that Pranav tricked a little bit his opponent into playing this bishop d2.
Yeah.
Bishop is not on e3 anymore. A very interesting outcome of the opening. Probably while Pranav is taking time and thinking at this position, let's move on to the board 2, because there we have also another interesting pairing. We have Motilov who won 2 games in the two out of 2. So he's also on the 100%, third player on the 100%. And he's facing Jose Martinez. He's a famous grandmaster. He's also famous for his online chess. He's playing really great online, and also he's a streamer who is creating content. So yeah, very famous chess personality.
Yeah. And we have French with e takes d5. So Motilov, again, yeah, he plays the same strategy. Simple position. I mean, trying to avoid the theoretical battle. Takes bishop to d3, knight f6, a3. Okay, interesting. This is really interesting. Knight to e2, rook e8, castle, c5, and white took on c5. White didn't blunder a piece, yeah, which is important.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, if you play like a move like bishop g5, which looks very logical, I mean...
Maybe in blitz you can blunder it, or in bullet.
Yeah. After c4, the bishop is trapped.
If you pre-move something.
Yeah. Okay, you can pre-move, let's say, the move knight f4, which is decent move in my opinion. Knight f4, and if c4 now, you have the square e2. And, okay, it's just normal position, normal game. So instead, white took on c5.
Wow. So it's very committing decision going into the position with the double pawns on the c file, but black
actually triple pawns.
For now tripled.
Yeah, probably you lose this one.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's actually I mean, it could be like, let's say, the general rules of chess. Yeah, when you have bishop's pair, you try to open the position, then white can play c4, undouble the pawns. And also very important is the square of the square d5 for d4 for the knight, yeah.
And maybe for a time also white can defend the pawn on c5. So it's not so easy. It's going to be not so easy to win the pawn back for bishop e3, bishop d4 maybe at some moment. So just to hold on to the pawn, and the pawn is a pawn, especially in the endgame, very important to have. I mean, having extra pawn can cost the game. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this d takes c5 idea actually is very common for Nimzo variation. In okay, I'll just show you. Maybe it's not really. And the f3 line, bishop b4, d5, a3, takes c5. D takes, knight takes, and here the best move by far is d takes c5, which looks strange a little bit, yeah? I mean, all the idea is to build up, let's say, the strong center by bishop d2 or queen d2 and playing e4. But concrete, probably you don't have time, yeah? Because if queen d2, then I don't have f5. If queen to d3, then b6, bishop a6. So here you take on c5, hoping to on the strength of two bishops, yeah. Then e4, then you sacrifice actually sometimes both pawns, c3 and c5, just to get the freedom for the bishops. Yeah, this is very old idea. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, belongs to Paul Keres, and from 50s, and till now this is considered the best move here. So d takes c5 is, let's say,
it's very thematic approach.
Yeah, thematic approach. So here we have the same, yeah. D takes c5, knight d7, and h6. So
where does the bishop go? Does it go back to f4, or does it keep the pressure on the pin?
Well, probably bishop h4, yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because okay, and if knight takes pawn,
then maybe. Is there immediate c4 there?
Knight takes d3.
Oh, you don't want to give up there.
Yeah, I'll take on c4, take on d1, knight e4. No, I think
nothing.
Yeah, so bishop h4, knight c5.
Bishop b5 is the
yeah, exactly. Bishop b5. Maybe white can try here.
And the idea could be always to take on f6.
Bishop to d7. Let's say bishop f6. Yeah. Queen f6, bishop takes d7, knight takes d7, queen takes d5. Let's try. Rook takes
Trading everything.
Yeah, e2.
Rook e2, queen d7.
Queen d7, rook takes c2, queen takes b7. Okay, white is up a pawn, but yeah, probably not for a very long time. Yeah, let's say rook e8, queen takes a7.
Also rook e2, yeah, you don't have to take a pawn with
exactly.
c3.
Yeah.
Now white is pinned a bit. Right, we might see so many exchanges, but yeah, definitely this h6 move. I mean, now big decision.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Well, actually, white can play simple here. Takes, and something like knight to d4. Because if you take on d3, pawn take d3, now no more weaknesses. White's c3 and d3 pawns are controlling most of the square in the center. Now next is queen f3, maybe rook e1. The knight on d4 is very strong. The bishop on c8 is, I would say, empty. Yeah, I think white can play position and switch to positional, just say knight to d4, followed by queen f3, rook e1.
Yeah, it looks, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but once again, there is a trick here. Let's say black plays the move bishop to d7, and here queen f3 is just losing the queen. Queen f3, g5,
bishop
g3, and bishop g4.
The queen is trapped.
The queen is trapped, and who knows, this is morning round. Everything is possible. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so bishop g4, you just might lose the queen here. Okay, so h6.
And bishop h4 was played.
Bishop h4 was played, probably knight takes pawn, and knight d4. This is what I'm expecting. Okay, white is not forced to blunder a queen.
Knight c5 is on the board at this moment. So we are heading there, we are heading.
Yeah, knight c5, and I don't know, knight to d4 looks to me the most logical move in the position. Knight d4, bishop to d7, let's say, and maybe a move like rook e1.
And now already, if you don't take the bishop on d3, it will go backwards to f1.
Yeah. So this is the current position. Knight takes c5.
Yeah. So now Motilov is taking time, probably while he's thinking what to do. Most likely, we will see this continuation. Let's move on to the board number 3, because there we have Sugiarov against Pranav Anand playing, and what an opening was there. Oh,
this bishop b5.
Just also played in the first round.
Yeah. And bishop takes d7 this time. Yeah, the old approach.
Not coming back.
Yeah, and knight to c3. Okay. Okay, this is okay. Unusual a little bit. White usually is trying to play here the Maratsi structure, yeah, with d4, c takes d4, taking with the queen, knight f6, and c4, c4, knight c3, and so on. So, and yeah, here in the move knight c3, okay, knight f6 and e5, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Take, knight takes e5, bishop to e6. Aha, so black is ambitious, actually. I mean, let's say black can play simply here the move g6 or e6.
Let the bishop be traded.
Let the bishop, yeah, exactly. And let's say queen f3, white can try to gain some tempest. Queen c7, I don't know, knight takes d7, now queen takes d7, and the position is approximately equal, I would say, d3, bishop e7. But by playing bishop e6, I think this move shows black's intentions. Yeah, I don't want to play equal position. I want to have my bishop spare. Okay, white is just now better developed, but imagine after a couple of moves like g6, bishop g7, castle, black completed his development, and okay, I mean, bishop spare is an important advantage, yeah?
Yeah, of course, and especially in this position, the center is for a moment open. I mean, even I don't see the way how it can get closed, because white will have to do miracle to close it, because yeah. And the other bishop most likely will go to g7. Yeah, can cat to g6, g7, and yeah, that looks great. And I think also important moment is pawn on c5, which is stopping white from advancing d pawn to d4. And basically, yeah, as you're mentioning, black is indeed. Pretty ambitious here. And by the way, these two players, they played against each other, but a very long time ago. It was 7 years ago in 2018. Wow. And it was also in the Emirates, in Abu Dhabi Masters. And it was Sugiarov who won back then. But he was playing with the black pieces or reverse colors. But who knows what will happen now? Also, Pranav is, he's also very strong and playing many open tournaments, bringing great results. And also, as you were mentioning yesterday, Sugiarov has lost a lot of rating points. He was over 2,700. Right now he's lower, but he's still a very strong player. And to be ambitious against such a strong and experienced opponent, I think it works a lot.
Yeah. So I was just trying to, maybe a4, a5 could be one idea. What else? Queen to f3, rook e1, or d3, bishop e3. So white's advantage is development, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a4 looks like one of the candidates' moves, because maybe if black goes b5 himself, then it's...
Yeah, so let's say a4, g6, a5, bishop to g7, and d3, yeah?
Maybe try to put the pressure on the pawn on c5.
Yeah, exactly. Castle and bishop to e3. I don't know, immediately, or maybe first rook e1. But this is probably the plan. Knight a4, maybe knight a4, queen a5. Yeah, so bishop
maybe
e3.
Maybe you have to play bishop e3, queen d2.
Yeah, bishop e3. But here black can play a move like knight d5. And now look at the bishops, yeah? Both bishops are very active. Knight takes d5. Queen takes d5, or bishop takes d5.
Yeah, this is very tough, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure this, of course, knight g4 didn't work, but knight d5 is also an idea.
Yeah. So once again, yeah, a4, bishop e6, a4, g6, a5, bishop g7, d3, castle, and maybe rook e1. Maybe white should start with rook e1, protecting the bishop. And if black plays now, knight d5, then knight a4, or knight a4 again, queen takes a5, yeah?
Yeah, the rook is undefended, unfortunately.
Yeah, bishop d2, just queen c7. Okay, white can play here, let's say, move like bishop to d2, protecting the knight. Maybe one day knight to c4, trading on d5, knight b6.
Also, it's possible to trade on d5 and play bishop c3.
Oh yeah.
Just opposite bishop on g7. Yeah, definitely many ideas are here, also for white.
Yeah, so this is one idea, yeah, just to push the pawn to a5, trying to play against the pawn at c5. Can white be more ambitious to play f4? No, probably not, yeah? f4.
Let's try. Again, it's not our pieces, as you're saying.
Pieces, yeah. f4, g6, and queen f3. Attacking the pawn. Queen c7, I don't know. Let's try the most natural move. d3, bishop g7. No, black is just fine. Black is in time to complete his development. Then castle, rook d8, b5, c4, or even without b5. Yeah, so this f4 probably is, and queen f3 was played, yeah, immediately.
Targeting the pawn on b7. So now, how do you defend it? Of course, queen c7 looks like the most logical. Also targeting the knight on e5.
Exactly.
Here, maybe rook e1.
Yeah, rook e1 is the most logical move here. But I was trying to sacrifice. No, it's too early to sacrifice. I was thinking to play d4, cd4, bishop f4. No, it's.
Is there d3, bishop e5, queen e5, bishop f4?
Wow.
And then take on b7?
Okay, let's try.
That's creative, but...
Yeah, bishop f4, queen d4.
And then take on b7.
And then just a move like queen d8 back. Something very safe.
Yeah, everything is defended.
Yeah. Okay, so queen c7, probably rook e1, as you said. Yeah, this is the most logical and natural move. g6, and maybe d3, bishop, or d4, actually. Still, I don't know why do I like this move, d4. Let's try. d4 takes and bishop f4. Probably too much, yeah?
And now knight g6 or knight f7 is a threat?
Yes. Just black can retreat the queen, yeah? Queen c8. Queen c8, knight a4 then.
It's tough to find. Yeah, queen c8, knight a4, yeah, right. But then where queen c5?
Queen c5, knight,
F4.
knight, or queen takes b7.
Queen takes b7. You have to defend the pawn.
Or black can just take. Actually, this is not a bad move, I believe.
Ah, just
Take and queen c6. And the queen is trapped there. Takes, black can take on b2.
Knight is just cannot get out, and bishop g7.
And bishop g7, this is a big advantage.
Yeah, 2 pieces for a rook.
Okay, this is not, yeah, so queen c7, one more time, rook e1, and the move g6. Okay, white can play just simple d3, bishop g7, bishop f4. Now knight g6 is a threat. Black should lose a tempo now with queen c8, I think. And maybe now a4, a5, yeah, in a better version, a much better version. a4, castle, and a5.
Yeah, now there is a big problem for black, how to continue, how to untangle, because queen is pinned to the pawn on b7, rook cannot get out from a8. Yeah, suddenly all the white pieces are playing, and these two bishops, this two bishop advantage which black has, it doesn't really work so well in the position.
Yeah, okay, very interesting. Very interesting play by Sugirov. So queen c7, rook e1, and g6, then d3, bishop f4. But what else? No. Okay. This is not for the morning round. Yeah,
Can you play rook d8?
Rook d8, yeah.
So not castle, yeah.
Okay.
It's so long.
Yeah, d3. And what is black's next move? Knight d5?
Yeah, knight d5, I was
saying. Knight d5, yeah.
Just so there is no bishop f4.
Stopping bishop d4. Yeah, this is an interesting idea.
It's still looking like a computer enjoys white's position here. So
something like bishop g5. I don't know. Looks like a blunder.
Bishop g5, and after f6, queen h5.
I don't know. Just if f6.
Queen h5, yeah.
Queen h5, yeah. Or simply knight moves. The knight can move. Queen h5, g6, knight g6, and bishop f7 at the end.
But as you're mentioning, you can just move the knight, right? So that
yeah,
the bishop is hanging.
But where exactly to move the knight? Because if a knight to c4, yeah? Knight takes c3, rook e6. Yeah, but bishop f7, I don't believe this position is bad for black. Followed by maybe e5 or e6, e5, I mean. Now bishop hangs, I don't know.
Maybe h4, bishop h4.
Okay, bishop to h4, e5. E5, knight takes e5.
Oh.
And probably white is winning here. Tactics everywhere, yeah. Bishop takes d8, queen takes d8, rook e5, king takes, knight takes d5.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Wow. Interesting. And it's so interesting because the morning round, you'll see who is more fresh, who is seeing all these tactical ideas.
And the game, black played the move bishop d5. So first you saved your bishop by playing bishop e6. I mean, you are avoiding trading for the knight. And now you play bishop d5, accepting, yeah?
Accepting the fate.
The fate, yeah, actually. Cannot escape from your fate. So bishop d5, but actually maybe the move is not so bad, yeah? So...
And probably he has seen this cool ideas with his bishop f4 and... as you were mentioning, development of white is just a huge advantage and huge perk in the position for white. So for that reason, definitely you have to give up the bishop pair advantage in order to try to get there. But you still not castle. There are still 3 moves which has to be played to castle. Okay, 2 moves and then castle.
And you know that white can be ambitious here. I mean, of course, knight takes d5 is perfectly fine, but queen g3. And now, how do you complete your development? If you play e6, bishop e7, then you don't have bishop e7 because pawn g7 ends. If you play with g6, okay, with g6 probably, yeah. Black should continue with g6 and bishop g7 castle.
But also, I think one of the ideas could be to play queen c7 and to have this pressure on the knight on e5, so that then e6, bishop e7 is possible, and with bishop f4 anytime comes, you have knight h5.
Okay, let's try this. So queen c7, let's say d3, e6, and rook e1. Protecting the knight. Now if bishop d6, I think queen g7 is possible move. I know. Or maybe knight takes d5 first and queen g7.
Okay, let's try it. Bishop d6.
Knight takes d5.
Knight d5.
Knight takes d5 and queen takes g7.
And long castle.
And long castle. Wow. And can I take one more pawn? Let's be greedy.
Ooh.
Bishop e5, queen takes e6, check.
Oh no.
And collecting.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
All the king side pawns.
Incredible, yeah.
So queen c7, rook e1, or d3, e6, rook e1. Yeah, probably after, let's say, the move queen g3, black should play g6, yeah?
Yeah.
With g6, bishop g7 castle.
The safe, yes.
Yeah, black is in time to complete his development. Okay, bishop d5. Now Fujairah is thinking, so to take the bishop immediately, or maybe to play queen g3 first, maybe queen e2.
Yeah, that's the biggest question, to take or not to take. So while he's taking time to think about that, let's move on to the board number 4. There we have Andrew Hong Yan, US Grandmaster, facing 𝐒𝐤𝐤 Patronage, who is already having so much experience, who is the second also of many top players. So he's like, yeah, he's a really strong player, and we have seen him showing us some nice chess in the first rounds, while many players were collapsing and losing their games.
Yeah. So what do we have? Catalan, b6, castle, bishop b7, and b3. Yeah. a5, bishop b2. Knight to d7, rook c1, rook e8, queen c2, rook to c8, and this is the current position.
Yeah, looks like
okay, strategical battle. I mean, white is had some advantage here. Let's say rook e1, but after c5, yeah, black is just equalizing. I mean, by the way, instead of rook c8, quite often black plays here. No, actually, no. Quite often black plays here the move a4.
after queen c2.
Yeah, I mean, generally a4. a4 is one of the move here, sacrificing this pawn. I mean, okay, if a3, just bishop takes d2, then takes on b3, playing on the white squares. And if you take, I mean, if white takes on a4, then, okay, not immediately. Bishop c6. Can black play such a move?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah. No. Actually, it's
very nice.
I think I spent some weeks analyzing this position.
Oh, and now you're showing us
Yeah,
for free.
yeah, exactly. So, by the way, I can show one more idea for free, which I like it very much. After bishop b7, okay, I'm not sure that it's exactly in this position, but one of the ideas is like taking on d5, pawn takes, and knight to b1. This strategical idea, I mean...
b3 and bishop a3?
No, white wants to play queen b3, knight c3, bishop g5, knight e5. So improving the knight. Knight on d2 actually is not a good piece, yeah? I mean, the knight on c3 is much better. Then you free the bishop. Bishop can develop, can move to f4 or g5, then queen to b3, rook to d1, rook to c1. Very interesting idea, by the way.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so here, yes, here a4, as I remember, black can play this rook e8, queen to rook c8, okay, and rook to d1. No, was not played. White is thinking. Okay, what else? White can jump with the knight on e5 anytime. Maybe now.
Yeah, black can never take on c4. There is this pressure on the bishop on b7.
And if black takes on e5, takes knight d7. Something
Knight
like,
f3.
yeah, knight f3, yeah. Followed by rook d1, maybe h4, knight h5, h4, knight g5. Yeah, so knight e5 is always a move here. So knight e5, okay, rook d1, a3. I think this is just helping black to improve his pieces. Let's say bishop to d6 or maybe bishop to f8. I don't know.
Yeah, because you don't need bishop on b4 any longer.
Yeah, exactly. Bishop to d6. Yeah, maybe to d6. So bishop is much better on d6 than on b4. So let's say knight e5. If white plays the same, then c5. And the difference is, yeah, the bishop here was misplaced. Let's say we can.
Yeah, maybe let's go to rook fd1 maybe.
Yeah, no, I just want to show this variation because now c5 is dubious, yeah, because your bishop on b4 is.
Can you even play here knight d to f3?
Yeah, exactly. But black probably takes c takes d4, yeah, and win the bishop. Well, what is then the move here?
I mean, a3 is possible.
Yeah, exactly. a3, bishop takes knight, queen takes, and
queen is out of the pin, so okay, there are many takes which are possible here.
Actually, only one.
Okay,
also on e5, yeah.
On e5, yeah.
Okay, if you take on e5, d5, knight e4, then the knight is trapped. Now let's say queen f4, and the knight is okay. The knight is not trapped, but
you have to play h6 or something.
Yeah, and then to retreat the knight to h7. Okay.
Very awkward.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the current position, and rook to d1. Yeah, this is your.
Yeah, just to see how
suggestion.
if white is just normally continues the development.
Oh, I found again a trick. Sorry.
One
but I cannot
resist.
Yeah, exactly. Takes and bishop e4 and 0-1, trapping the queen again.
Wow! One more time, the trap of the queen. Oh no.
So yeah, you might take with the knight. I mean, especially it's morning round. Yeah.
I'm interested if we are going, because if yesterday we have seen blunders, right? Remember in the game of Suleiman Lee, his opponent blundered yesterday just in one move. There was this knight b6,
knight b8,
knight b8, yeah, targeting two rooks. So yeah, truly remarkable in the single round day. Today we have double round and morning round. Players are probably still are not so awake. Yeah,
but I believe this is too early to blunder the queen. I mean, to blunder the knight takes c4, bishop e4. One more time to show to our viewers. Yeah, so this is the current position. White is thinking rook d1, knight e5, a3. So many candidates here. What do you prefer, Angelica, as white here? What is your choice?
I think, I mean, this knight e5 looks great. As you're mentioning, there is no option to take on c4 any longer, and very active move. Also, take on e4 is not possible, and I feel like this space advantage which white has to be tried to be put in the use, because okay, rook fd1 is a bit slower move, and against such a threat as c5, I feel like knight e5 is more dynamic. And
Okay, I like also the move knight e5. Let's hope they will listen to your advice.
Yeah, meanwhile, let's move on to the board number 5. We have their German Grandmaster Alexander Donchenko facing Brandon Jacobson.
Yeah, and what do we have? We have a rare opening, Pirk defense, yeah? Knight c3, d6, bishop to e3, a6, and h4. Okay, if you see the pawn on g6, h4 comes automatically, yeah? h5.
But now there is g5 square.
There is g5 square, yeah? And actually white is just going for the square.
And I think also very interesting, white is going with a knight h3, not knight f3, which would be more normal or usual move, because okay, after this, then black can use g4 square for the bishop g4, and yeah, so this knight h3 is very nice move, and then white.
But just a question here: do you take on f3 or not after queen d2? Because if you take on f3, then after g takes f3, look at the structure. Yeah, imagine like pawn f4 and pawn f5, and then the king side might collapse simply.
It's a good question. So,
and if you don't take, white jumps to g5, followed by f3, and then maybe it might be the move bishop g4 is just wasting time.
Yeah, because after knight g5, you don't want to play f6.
Yeah, exactly. Without inclusions of h4, h5. I mean, bishop takes f3 is a good move, yeah, because then this f4 f5 is not that strong. Black can play knight f6, knight h5.
Yeah, this h5 is weakening g6 square a lot.
Exactly.
You cannot hold
Yeah, so probably this bishop g4 and bishop takes f3 doesn't give black so much. Yeah, so bishop f3, gf3. If you play a move like, I don't know, any move, I don't know, knight c6, then knight g5. I don't know, immediately or maybe, yeah, probably immediately, followed by f3, f6 you don't want to play, I believe. Yeah, so okay, knight h3 anyway, and bishop takes h3. I believe this is a good move. This is a good move. Rook takes h3 and knight d7. So no more knight on g5. Black managed to complete his development. Queen d2 and c6. Knight to d1. It's prophylactic play, yeah? So white probably wasn't that happy with castle, yeah? Because after b5, followed maybe by knight b6 or queen a5, knight b6, black is attacking.
I'm just looking at this rook on h3. Of course, it was taken there, but it just reminded me one of the game of Saleh Salem when he played recently in Biel. There was some maneuver with the rook h3 he played, but I already forgot the opening. But, I really like this rook on h3.
Yeah, rook on h3. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember. It was a Slav defense.
Yes.
With
against
Aaron Witt.
Yes.
Aaron Witt. But yeah. Now I remember. It was
because
a draw by.
Structure was.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it was a Slav defense, and black got advantage, but somehow then Salem escaped with perpetual with queen on f7. Was that game? With queen f7, queen f5.
Then it was not against Aravind, it was against Volodar Murzin.
Maybe, yeah, right.
This was,
I
think, the first round, and Volodar was pushing, and then Salem escaped. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so what do we have here? Knight d1. Well, very interesting move. Let's try to understand what is the idea behind.
Looks like some remaneuvering the pieces, or maybe pushing c4.
Pushing c4, yeah?
Because usually in Pirc or Philidor, you're not getting time for this c4 because knight is standing there on c3. But can you use so much time for this push?
Well, or let's say white can even maneuver his knight to g5.
Oh, I see. Very nice.
Yeah. So let's say knight to f2, then rook h1, knight h3, knight g5. You develop the bishop and you make castle short. Maybe your opponent will. I know it's not legal, but who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can try. Just try. By the way, I mean, I remember 2 games where castle short was played. I mean, castle was played with the rook that moved before.
Yeah, this was the game between the female players.
Oh, really? Female? I know the men. And in the European Men Championship actually happened. And it wasn't the game of Moiseyenko with Malakov, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2001.
Wow.
And they continued the game. They just continued the game. So imagine 2 grandmasters to 6+.
Incredible. Yeah, and if basically the rules, dear viewers, is that if you're not claiming a legal move and the game continues, and the arbiter didn't see or didn't interfere, then the game just continues as it is. Because the moment you press the next move, the clock, then you cannot claim anymore that it was a legal move. Unless, for example, let's say, both kings are in check, then of course arbiter has to interfere because.
And what is going on with transmission in this situation? I don't know. With the electronic board?
Yeah, I think it's getting broken at the moment.
They just need to reset,
Yes, and they say, okay, the players accepted it. But I forgot who exactly was playing, but it was between two female players and like women grandmaster and maybe international master, I don't remember. And the point was that in case she would not have to castle and play with the king, it would be already game over after the next move.
Right.
So she didn't have a good move with the king. So for example, sometimes maybe you can have still play like king f1 or king f8, but there I think this move was just losing on the spot. So it's really amazing that players accept it and just forgot about it that rook moved twice.
Okay, so knight to d1, intending probably knight f2, maybe of course castle 1, and maybe rook h1, knight h3, knight g5, I don't know, one day. Knight to d1, wow. Interesting maneuver played by Alexander Donchenko. Black is thinking. Okay, I mean, let's try to play directly in the center, let's say. e5, knight f2, and d5, yeah? I'm using the fact that black is better developed. There is no, let's say, good coordination of white's pieces, especially the rook on h3.
Yeah, it looks like great position for black.
Yeah. Okay, white can castle.
But this bishop pairs, I mean, just one.
Yeah, bishop's pair, yeah, castle, and let's say castle, yeah. And
the question is where to take or how to release the pressure, or do you have to release the pressures first?
Yeah, good questions. I don't have the answer. I mean, it's not easy to say. I mean, white probably doesn't want to take on d5 because knight d5. Taking on d5 also allows the knight to come to e5.
But definitely what I can see in the position that there is a straight attacking opportunities for white, which is not so easy for black. So black has to still push b5, a5, a4, b4, b4, or another way around. So it's so hard to reach the king on the queen side of white. Meanwhile, white has always this opportunity to push g4 and try to open up. But again, to prepare take on h5, maybe you have to go knight, so g4 maybe, and then somehow. Oh, you want to try immediately? Wow.
Nothing to lose, not our pieces.
Yes.
We have so many. So g4, and
it looks like the pawn is being lost, but apparently it's not.
Yeah, no, actually, this is a pawn to give. I mean, takes, pawn takes,
and h5,
and then h5, or g5, by the way, knight e5. No, h5. Yeah, you're right. And finally, rook on h3 is now a great piece, yeah? White wants to take on g6, bishop c4, maybe h6, h7.
Yeah, it looks amazing, absolutely. The h file is getting open for white, so a very tough position for leg. So let's move backwards. So probably black doesn't have to play to this e5. And here, if white goes, sorry, there was a little short castle. Yeah, we were discussing, which was a mistake. Yeah, probably.
Okay, probably taking on e4. Yeah, taking on e4 looks more natural. I mean, if you take with the pawn now, no more g4, black can castle.
But maybe bishop e2 and prepare g4.
Bishop e2 and prepare. Yeah. Okay, white now black can just taking on d4, trying to bring the knight to e5.
Maybe bishop h6.
Wow. Okay, and knight e5. Black is very solid here.
There is no g4.
There is no g4, yeah. I mean, of course, white can take the pawn back, but I don't believe white is happy with that in game.
Then bishop has to take on d4, but then there is no bishop. Then there is no knight e5, and g4 is still a question for black.
It's a queen to e7. Bringing the rook to d8.
Okay, and now can we go
g4? Yeah.
So giving up a pawn on e4.
Okay.
Because then if knight will take, I will take on h5 and open. By the way, taking on h5 is a threat. If knight takes, I can always take with a bishop. and open the g file.
So taking on g4, probably black should go. How do you take back with the?
It's interesting because bishop, if I take with the bishop, it's putting pressure on the knight on d7 at some moment.
Yeah.
Maybe bishop because maybe we'd like to have knight for attack.
Correct. So bishop takes and knight e5. Followed by rook d8. I mean h5. Yeah, but no, bishop hangs.
Bishop hangs. Yeah, that's
Yeah, bishop hangs. So
maybe for that reason knight has to take on g4.
but then the pawn is not hanging, or pawn is hanging on e4.
But then queen e3 maybe.
Interesting play.
And somehow there is threat already of bishop g7, rook d7.
I like it very much. Yeah, I like it very much. So yeah, all white pieces are active. h5 is coming. I mean, so many pieces are hanging.
Oh, by the way, VRL, we have first results on the top board. So let's move on there and just to see if we still have players there. No, we don't have. So I'll put the board number 2 for a moment. So yeah, there is a draw. Agreed.
So bishop g4 happened.
Not agreed, but there should have been triple repetition.
Yeah, so bishop takes f3 instead of bishop h5. So takes knight d4, queen d1 back, c6, bishop a2, knight e6, queen f3, knight d4, knight e6. Well, I would say a little bit artificial repetition. Not really. I mean, why do you play here queen f3? I mean, if you want to continue the game, you can play any move like rook e1, knight e2. By the way, knight e2, knight g3. I believe white is just simply better in this position. d5, knight g3. Look at the position. I mean, bishop spare. If you take on e4, we play d4. This bishop is just a beast. Jump knight f5. You play rook e1, then you play queen f3. Now, okay, this is a dream position as an Italian player.
Definitely, and maybe later in the tournament.
Yes. Very disappointing.
Later in the tournament, I think Suleiman Lee will be just biting his nails, thinking, why did I let this draw happen?
Yeah.
But of course, let's not forget, these double rounds. The players just woke up probably like 1 hour before the game started. So they're definitely, it makes sense to save the energy. But for white pieces, as you're mentioning, yeah, there is definitely so much of a play which could have been continued. For Pranav, by the way, it's a great achievement because he had his color broken due to the rating because if I'm not mistaken, the rules are following. So the player with a higher rating or the player who has more points is getting his color. So basically, if he was playing black, then he'll play white. And in this case, it's Suleiman Lee because all 3 players who are the leaders yesterday had black pieces. So someone had to have
black
his color
again.
broken. Yeah. It was Pranav, and for him it's great to first win against Niklesh, and yesterday with the black pieces, and now draw 2.5 out of 3. So this is definitely a great start. But we still have Motilov, by the way. Let's maybe go to the board number 2. We still have Motilov.
Actually, the position that we discussed.
We were talking about.
Yeah, very exactly. So what happened here? Yeah, all the moves actually. Bishop b5. Taking, and I believe we will have soon another draw.
But here we were discussing rook c2, and he went back
he went back just rook e7. Okay, probably, actually this is a good move, yeah? Because black wants to play rook c8 and collect both pawns, yeah? c2, c3.
So I think what Jose Martinez is trying to point out here, there are these weaknesses on the queen side. This a3, c2, c3, they're all isolated, and he'll try to push a little bit. Although, of course, there is a big chance to defend for white this position.
I mean, let's say queen to d4. Yeah, if white wants to play for a draw, you just exchange queens. I mean, even if you lose, I mean, d4 or c2 pawn, or both of them. So, I mean, still you have good chances to make draw. Yeah, queen d4.
Maybe we can play queen f5 attacking
the
c2
of course. Black is not forced to. And if I insist on changing queens, queen f6 and queen d4, triple repetition. It's easy to find triple repetition in the position, yeah? Okay, you can change a little bit. You can play from g6 and anyway queen d3, and then again we have...
maybe queen c6 at some moment.
All right.
Just continue playing.
Getting ambitious, yeah? Okay, and rook to d1. Rook c8.
Or rook
Rook
C to E8, it's hard to.
or E8, C2, A2, yeah?
Good point for black that there is H6 being played, so there is no
Yeah.
checkmate.
And white didn't play yet.
Yeah, so there might be some
yeah.
tricks.
Okay, let's show a trick here. Let's say
Yeah.
white wants to change. Okay, this is too easy, yeah? The
Yeah.
queen to D5. I don't know, move like rook to B1,
Then maybe
rook E2. Nope. No, but actually, if white plays here H3, or let's say here H3, and rook E2, let's say here queen D5 is anyway a blunder,
yes.
because check, yeah? And even if you have the square H2 for the
You
king,
just take the queen.
and you lose the rook at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's even easy for the morning round. I think this blunder, so it's not so. It's going to be tough to be executed. But yeah, Motulov is taking time, so there might be a peaceful outcome, but still, it's not over due to this weak pawns on the queen side. But you know, one game we haven't checked yet, and it was from the board number 6.
Yeah.
And I would love to go there because we were checking board number 5 just now. Because we have very interesting pairing in the round number 3. As we were mentioning earlier, and by the way, I believe yesterday Fujairah was playing board number 7, now board number 6. She won the first round. She played draw yesterday. She defended so well in the end game. Truly amazing performance so far. And today she's facing the youngest grandmaster in the history of chess, Abhimanyu Mishra. Also super strong. I mean, he started with a victory. Yesterday he played a draw, very solid. And yeah, this is a huge battle, and it's so tough to say for whom to root and who's going to win, or is it going to be a draw?
And just choosing, let's say, the knight shows that both players are very ambitious. No short draws, no. Yeah, bishop E2, okay, a solid line from 𝐤𝐤𝐬. A4, very positional one. Probably, yeah, this. Okay, and we could face repetition here too, yeah? But no, knight D2. Okay, she's ambitious.
No repetition.
No repetition.
But okay, also it probably at some moment, of course, it's not bringing closer to the time control because usually players repeat. This is a strategy to get closer to 40th move, but in this case, maybe to get closer to 30th move when the draw over is possible. But
or just checking your opponent's intentions, yeah?
Yes.
Is your opponent ready for a piece or not? So takes, and bishop to C1. So first moment, probably rook takes A6 is not a good move, because after knight C4, I mean, attacking B2, attacking the bishop, and if, yeah, bishop C1 now, knight takes B2, taking the pawn back. Okay, white B3, yeah, and some tactics. Here, knight B2 winning a piece, but then the knight is trapped, yeah?
But what about queen D2?
Queen takes C3,
and then
and somehow
B1.
trapping the knight,
but
yeah?
there is pawn on
C2 hangs, yeah, I'm also trying to... So the knight is lost, but, and that one is trapped, yeah? How do we...
But how, yeah?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Okay, what about, okay, it looks very artificial, but queen somewhere either C1 or B1, and then idea of bishop D1 defending C2 pawn.
No, bishop D1, the knight. Knight takes D1.
Knight will just take. You
yeah, so
do
how do we...
Then rook E2 has to be played.
Yeah, okay, so queens to...
B1 probably.
But then knight to C4, knight can go back. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm also trying to, let's say queen to A1 maybe, and if queen takes, now rook E2. And this is probably the way of...
Yeah, because queen on C1 or queen on B1, there is always some pin on the C or B file. So yeah, queen A1 is correct.
I'm not sure, yeah, because here, okay, bishop takes B3 maybe, I know.
But computer doesn't like something.
Computer doesn't like something, yeah. So let's say knight to D3 here. Queen C3, knight to D3, maybe black is just slightly better after this move. Or maybe black can play with D5 here. Yeah, actually, black is ready for this typical d5 move on the Sicilian. Now something went wrong for white, yeah? So queen a1, queen takes c3, and bishop d2, queen c2, knight e3, queen d3. How do we do it? Maybe rook a2. Just a simple move like rook a2.
But then queen c2.
And rook takes b2.
And d3 is not falling, yeah?
Not immediately, at least, yeah.
But even if it is falling, maybe d6 at the moment will fall. So
yeah. Okay, anyway.
Not easy.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. White just prevented all this.
By not taking.
Yeah, by not taking the pawn. So bishop c1, queen to d7, yeah? So if knight c4 now, white can just simply play the move b3.
Yeah, now it's not a problem anymore. Now there is no knight b2. And knight will have to go backwards.
Yeah, and then maybe like bishop b2 move, followed by knight e3.
Now there is knight c4 there.
Oh, knight c4.
Repetition, yeah?
And again, we have the same repetition, yeah?
But okay, probably white will want to continue. Maybe
rook e3.
Maybe bishop a3.
Bishop a3.
Wait, sorry, knight is hanging, yeah?
Rook e3, I believe. Rook e3, then rook to d3, knight to e3, bishop to a3, full harmony.
Very nice.
So imagine the rook here, knight on e3, bishop on a3. Okay. So what happened in the game? The move queen to d7, yeah?
So
Queen
no
to
knight
d7.
d4, not helping white.
And knight to e3. Once again, is this pawn hanging?
Let's see now. Okay, knight c4.
Yeah. b3. And knight a5.
Queen b7.
Queen to b7, okay. Rook to a2, protecting the pawn c2 just in case.
And then what? We have to retreat
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then it's just a pawn up.
But the knight on c3 may be a bit hanging in the air.
So knight a5 maybe, yeah? Because maybe you need the square b6 for the bishop. Let's say after knight a5, if rook e3, then bishop to b6. And then knight c6, knight d4, but still, pawn. Pawn is a pawn. Knight d5, white can play knight a4. Now knight a4, knight takes b3. Okay, just to show this blunder.
Oh.
It's a blunder. So knight to d5. White is pawn up.
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah, so once again, rook takes pawn.
Okay, let's try to see here. Maybe there was something. Maybe bishop c4.
Rook
but then
a1.
Rook a1.
What do you play against e4? Are you a Sicilian player?
No,
not.
So.
Okay, so me too, actually. Yeah, because probably here, like a Sicilian player would say, okay, this is typical, this, that, maybe play d5, maybe you regroup pieces and everything is, maybe sacrifice on c3.
Yeah, I was also thinking this rook c3 and queen a5, queen d5, but not too much.
Okay, d5, also not very impressive. And then what else? Queen b7 and knight c4, what is the difference? No big difference. You know what? Maybe knight c4, b3, and bishop a5.
Oh, when our rook is in trouble on a6.
Exactly. And if you take on c4, okay, taking on c3, then pawn c4 is just falling.
And queen b7 is a threat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now we figured it out.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So bishop a5, yeah, strong idea. Okay, in the game, white played knight c3, knight e3, knight c4, knight takes c4, bishop takes c4. And this is the current position. White is thinking.
Yeah, looks like a very interesting choice always by Fujairah. She was not going for the simplification, for the repetition, and as you're saying, both players are so much ready for a fight, even though it's a morning round, which is usually tough for the players. But probably let's leave Fujairah to think, and we got the footage from the 8th board of the game of Niklesh Sarin against Salnaranian, so we can take a look.
Yeah.
Also what happened there.
Let's go from the beginning, and we have English opening, d3, d5, knight takes e4. Taking, takes, bishop to c5, bishop e2, castle, castle, king h8. Okay, just in case, maybe intending f5, bishop to e3, trading, queen e7 and d4. White is sacrificing a pawn.
Oh, yeah, there is a pawn e4.
And black didn't accept, yeah? So let's check.
Maybe there is a problem somewhere on the king side. Because after takes, queen e4, bishop d3.
Check. That's also a check. King h1 and bishop g4. It's time to count pawns.
Maybe queen c2 with the idea rook a to e1, bringing more pieces.
Okay, I can prevent by rook queen h6 immediately, maybe.
Yeah, rook f1. I mean, there is some compensation for the pawn.
Yeah.
Question will be always if it's enough. Okay, knight on c6 is fully limited. Yeah, knight cannot jump anywhere. And white's pieces are very active, but again, the pawn is a pawn. So.
Yeah. Okay, it is good compensation probably for the pawn. I don't know, but still I believe black can defend. Black can defend.
And there are no real threats for him.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe let's try to go a bit back to see. So maybe there was something else.
Pawn takes d4, pawn takes.
Try to figure it out.
Queen takes e4.
Bishop d3 looks logical.
Yes, check.
But somehow computer doesn't like it, so there should be something.
Well, you know what? I think black computer wants to play first queen to d2, just preventing the check, and then bishop d3, rook e1, and also now knight g5 might be a threat, and then bishop to c4 or bishop h5, depends where the queen goes.
Very nice. Prophylactical move first. And it's not so easy to see because whenever you sacrifice something, you look for dynamic play, for immediate attack, checks, captures, threats. But here, queen d2, just stopping the queen e3 and bishop d3 is a big threat now, or knight g5.
Or knight g5, yeah, exactly. And if rook e8, I wanted to demonstrate, to show no, it doesn't work. Okay, rook e8, knight g5. And if queen takes c2, there is rook e1, and the game over. Rook e1, losing the queen. So rook e8, knight g5. Okay, probably black should give this check, but it is clear that white took the pawn back, and white keeps a very strong attack. Okay, so probably from practical point of view, we don't want to give white's initiative. So d4 and bishop g4 was played, a solid move. Knight to d2. Well, Niklesh just played knight to d2. Okay, a positional approach. Let's say after trading the bishops, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2. White wants to play knight b3, knight c5. Yeah, I mean, Niklesh here, I like. The move of knight d2 is surprising a little bit. Why do you trade the bishops by playing knight d2?
Yeah, that doesn't look so logical, right? You want to keep the bishop.
Yeah, I mean, bishop e2, queen e2. I mean, okay, rook d8. Let's take takes, and rook to e8. Just to prevent the knight from moving. Like there is no knight b3, no knight c4 because pawn on e4 hangs. And of course you don't want to play d5, yeah, because after d5, let's say knight to d8, c4, b6, followed by knight b7, we have this very nice blockading.
Yeah, knight goes to the c5 or d6.
c5, d6, yeah, depends of the situation. So yeah, and black took on e2.
Okay, not surprising, yeah.
Yeah, queen e2 and rook e8, I believe. Black should try to put pressure on d4 on e4 pawn. Okay, quiet position. I don't
Yeah.
believe.
Most of the players are ready for a fight. Maybe let's just go backwards to the second board because the first board already finished, as we were mentioning earlier, in a draw. So this is the only leader which is in the tournament, who is Alexander Motilov, who still has a hypothetical chance to get a full point, although this position looks like the one.
And no queen f5, no queen g6, no queen c6, just straight. Yeah,
straight to the end game. Okay, yeah, rook end games. Yeah, the two. When there are the pair of rook, I know this rule. So if there is a pair of rook, it's a good chance to create some counterattack. So even if black will win some pawn, maybe white will be able to get some counterattack. So maybe it's a higher chances for a draw. What do you think? Or how do you approach it?
I don't have any specific rules on this. I don't know, but white is still a pawn up. I mean, black is the side who should first equalize the material, yeah. And
but
if you,
by the way, yes, you're
white
right.
is a pawn up. I mean, and if you trade the rooks, I mean, you can win the pawn by trading one pair of rook. Yeah, this is probably cannot win the pawn and keep both rooks. Well, I believe that this is just draw. I mean, I don't believe any side can play here for more than draw.
Yeah, for black, I mean, of course, if black's pawns would be isolated, let's say there would be pawn on A file and C file, then white would be able to play for an advantage, because extra pawn plus some weaknesses. But black doesn't have weaknesses, and this is the biggest advantage of the black's positions. And meanwhile, yeah, white has weaknesses. And
yeah, okay, we can try. Let's say rook to c7, and let's say white doesn't want to defend the pawn. Let's say h3. Yeah, let's say let's make the most. And take the pawn. Now you take, and I just play the move a4 or rook b1 first. b6. Okay, actually things are not so easy now for white.
Maybe, but okay, rook before rook a4, there could be a5 at some point, and then rook is trapped.
Rook is trapped. No. Actually, this rook b1 is probably
maybe rook e7.
Rook to e1 and e7, but then king f8. So here maybe it's not that easy to make a draw.
Okay, rook d1, pushing the
king f8.
King is in time to stop.
Yeah, d5, king e7, d6, king e7. This is lost. This position is lost.
Okay, not so easy.
So probably white should just defend the pawn, yeah? With rook a2. It looks ugly. Rook c4.
Okay, now there is no c3 because the pawn on d4 is taken. So d5 is the only way to defend, or rook d1.
Rook d1, then rook takes c2, and we have more or less the same endgame.
Pawn tempo up, yeah, for white.
Tempo up, but I don't believe it changed so much because takes.
Then the king will be not on d7 but on d8.
Yeah, but it doesn't change much.
Yeah, now rook c7, rook d7 is a big threat.
Yeah. So once again, let's go to this position. Rook c7, rook a2. Let's say rook b4, and maybe king f1. King f1, rook takes b4. Rook b2, b6, but this one is not so easy.
And black will be able to press on this weakness.
Yeah. I mean, rook a4, rook c4. So, yeah, this is the current position. Yeah, rook f1 and rook c7.
This happened, or okay, we expect rook. Rook c7 happened, by the way. It's on the board. It just happened this moment. So we will get also the move there. So big question for Motilov in this endgame, how to proceed. I suggest we go quickly maybe through the next game. So let's go to the board number 3. And we do a roundup of the top 5 boards, and then we go on our first break.
Correct. So queen g3 was played. So white is ambitious. g6, d3, bishop g7, and bishop h4, queen h4. Yeah, intending to trade the bishop with bishop h6. Bishops and this, rook e8, taking on g7. Yeah, you take immediately. Otherwise, let's say after rook e1, bishop h8, Black's bishop escapes, so takes, and this is the current position. Okay, what do we have here?
Yeah, some pressure on the king side.
Yeah, exactly. So white can bring the rook, like leave the rook, like rook e1, rook e3, rook h3.
And look at this, the bishop is still untouched on d5, so
yeah.
white doesn't want to take just yet.
Yeah, and then maybe, you know, one day maybe white can just push the pawns, like with f4, maybe g4. And of course, lifting the rook first, like rook to h3, then f4, g4, g5, f5.
It looks like a big pressure for Sugiarov in this position. And yeah, will he play f4 or, I mean, probably bringing the rook to e1 also makes sense, and he's doing it.
Okay, but the other rook, actually, I was thinking that that rook should go in there. Okay, and black can play here b5, intending to keep the bishop, yeah, bishop b7. Like if you play a move like rook e3 here, maybe just bishop b7, queen comes to d4, let's say rook h3. Well, this is actually becoming dangerous. h5, queen g5.
Yes, some maybe even g4.
Well, yes, why not? Okay, first bringing the other rook, yeah, and then maybe knight e2, knight f4, targeting pawns on g6, h5.
Dangerous position for black.
Yeah, dangerous position for black. Okay, this is the position of the rook e1.
Yeah, so probably let's go forward to the board 4. We'll see what Pranav will do in that position.
He did play your move, Angelica, knight e5.
Oh, okay, it was our move, yeah. You're also suggesting that,
yes. Yeah, knight e5, and black took on e5, okay?
Yeah, that's what we were discussing, and it felt like it was not really so good to take, but probably it was necessary because other continuations were also not so appealing. But here, e5 pawn, I really like this position for white.
And rook to d1 first. Maybe also white can play for e4 idea in some positions. Yeah, queen to e7, and here white is thinking. Yeah. So e4 is quite logical idea. Maybe knight f3 or h4, knight f3, intending to play knight g5. What else? Maybe starting with h4. I know that computer likes such moves. Why not? We are learning from the closet. Yeah.
Can you trade the dark squared bishop?
Yeah, but if you do this, I'll just take, and bring my knight to g5, f3, g5. Okay.
Or maybe first f4 and then
f4.
Or it's too much.
Wow.
Maybe it's too much.
Okay. It's interesting. Why not? Yeah, looks very interesting. Honestly, I would never consider such a move as f4, but I like the idea. f4. Yeah, then maybe king hides to h2, knight f3, e4, taking on d5. Okay, very interesting idea. Very interesting idea. So queen to e7, and white is thinking, yeah? h4, maybe knight f3, maybe e4. If white plays e4 directly, how black should react to this move?
Because if black takes, the releasing the pressure is just going to
takes on e4 or on c4? On e4, yeah?
Because on e4,
knight takes e4.
You undouble the pawns, and you help white to bring the knight to the position.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one day knight will just jump to f6. With some.
So maybe let's try take on c4.
Yeah. Take on c4. Knight takes c4.
Now bishop is looking at the pawn on e4, but at the same time it might be helping with f4, f5 ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough to say.
Yeah. Okay, so e4 is another option. So one is h4, bringing the knight to g5. The other is e4. What else? Can we just take on d5? What do you think about this move?
Oh, and then if the problem is, I think that
how do you take back? Yeah.
Yeah, if you take with the bishop, then you allow this
knight e4.
Knight e4, yes. And then there is still this pawn on e5. Looks like a nail in the position. It just cuts it in the two halves of the board. But
yeah.
But my problem with the pawn, I would love to take with the pawn, but then bishop is stuck. Bishop is stuck on b7 a bit. It's looking at the pawn.
Yeah, and we can just play knight f3 now, yeah?
Just defending the pawn on e5. It's still very strong. And queen f5 is coming.
Yeah, white got a nice majority on the king side. White can just push the pawns, h4, g4, queen to f5, as you said. And the bishop, yeah, and also look at this bishop on d4, yeah? I mean, what do you do? Trade? Then the knight jumps to g5. Actually, this is just losing probably immediately.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And if you play g6, there are so many holes in the position for black. You cannot
Bishop takes d5 directly, maybe some ideas with e6, maybe bishop h3. So many possibilities here.
Yeah.
Let's say bishop h3, queen e7 or rook e7, then the white plays e6.
Yeah, this is just
yeah, so and he did take, yeah.
So we might see this continuation. So at least to me looks like this e takes d5 is more ambitious, keeping the bishops on the board, but maybe he will decide to trade the bishops. Who knows?
C takes d5 and
no move yet. So probably let's go to the board number 5. We'll see in the later with which piece did he decide to take. But we have here Donchenko against Jakobsen.
And actually, yeah, e5, and here white took first on d5, yeah? So after castle long d5, okay, that was our g4 idea,
Yes.
but he took and bishop to e2.
Preparing g4 push.
And what if d5 now?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because basically you have a worse version of our analysis, yeah, I mean, the previous line.
Yeah, maybe just to highlight one more time this variation, if we just can to compare, because it looks definitely such a huge difference.
So castles, d5 and g4, yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
g4 directly, yeah.
Of course, like it's setting the whole board on fire. I mean, like so many takes are possible, but yeah, definitely look so much more interesting.
Yeah, because the knight is not on e5. Yeah, I mean the knight is passive now on d7. Black needs some time to bring it to the game, and comparing to the game, the knight is already on d5, already on e5, and after let's say d5, the knight stops g4. The knight can jump. I mean, it's just much better version for black.
Yeah, and you would have this position already with a castle.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And now if you castle now, then there is a take on e4. I mean, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe some inaccuracy or even mistake by Donchenko played. What do you say?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, it's just clearly that black is much better comparing to the previous line. I mean, the knight on e5. The knight is already on e5, stopping the move g4. And it's a tempo down. It's a tempo down for white.
Yeah, what a games from the round number 3, Viral. I think it's a great moment for us to take our very first break. We have so many exciting games, matchups. We have already our first result on the board 1, which was a draw. But we still have one player on the 100%. So there is an opportunity still to have someone with 3 out of 3. But we'll find out the rest games after the short break. So please stay tuned for more from Fujairah Global Chess Championship. and welcome back to Fujairah Global Chess Championship. It's round 3 underway. Here today we have double rounds, so really tough day for all the players, especially in the superstars. And yeah, we're having so many exciting pairings so far, and we have the very first result. The draw was played on the board number 1. Meanwhile, the action is still continuing on all of the boards, and currently we can see this is the board number 2, and we see that Jose Martinez, we were earlier mentioning, putting up some really big pressure on Alexander Motylev, although it looks like a completely equality also according to computer, but as we were mentioning earlier, even though there is an extra pawn for white, there is still opportunity for black to win back at least one pawn, and then there will be weaknesses. So for a moment, the pawn on c2 is a big problem, and rook c4 is a threat. And we see g3 was played, even not thinking about defending the pawn on c2. So that's what Motylev decided to do. And because we're discussing many of the lines here with VRL coming, by the way, in a few moments. Yeah, here we have the g3 move. So first of all, the idea is not to have any kind of back rank checkmate, but also at some moment it would be very useful to bring the king out from the g2, or king can also go through f1. And we see computer slightly prefers the position of black here, and probably just due to the fact that the pawn structure is so much better. And I'm getting back VRL now. He's he's coming. Please join. So yeah, I was just talking about this position. So
so
yeah.
g3 was played.
G3 was played. He didn't play rook a2. He didn't play king f1. He just played g3. So.
You know, it's not easy actually to make a draw here. I mean, I think Motylev, well, I look at the time difference. Yeah, it exactly shows how position is difficult actually. I don't believe this is a very, let's say, practical choice, this queen d4 move. After rook e7, maybe you should just try to play queen d3 to leave the queens on the board, maybe rook, trying to get some counterplay, because this one is, well, quite unpleasant, yeah? Rook takes c2, rook takes c2, rook takes c2, and I don't know what is the let's say precise way to escape here.
Yeah, it's a good point, because there are 2 pawns.
Okay, let's try just to push the pawns, yeah? So maybe a4, and if rook c4, now I have the move rook to b1. Yeah, this is basically, this is strong. And if b6, then a5.
a5. Oh.
B takes a5, now check first, very important.
And then
King h7, rook
b7.
b7, yeah. Attacking both pawns, rook takes d4, let's say rook takes a7, 2 pawns are hanging, and this is probably enough.
This is theoretical draw.
Yeah, you take the pawn, then come back with the rook to a7, this is probably draw. Okay, so once again, yeah, let's show this variation, takes, a4, but black can still try to play for advantage here. Let's say rook king f8, rook b1, rook and rook c7 now. What do you think? I'll bring my king to c8. I don't want to play b6. Then slowly rook to d7 or rook c4. Yeah, so let's imagine this situation. a5, king to e7.
Maybe king f1.
King f1, king d7. And white is just right in time, yeah? King c8 and king d3.
And then there could be ideas, even if the rook moves from this 7th rank, there could be ideas of rook e1, rook e7, attacking the pawns on the king side.
Yeah, and if rook d7, king comes to c4, just in time. If rook c6, rook a6, then rook b5. Yeah, this is probably too slow. Okay, anyway, yeah, so the way is just takes, and a4, followed by a5 and rook b1. And rook b1, I think that Motylev is calculating now.
I just wonder how much time did he spend on the move g3, because we left long time ago, and he had 48 minutes, so 20 minutes on the move G3. And one more time highlights how the complex position is, as you were mentioning earlier. All the lines are very complex. So he decided to go for this variation.
Yeah.
So take on C2 is something what we expect, and it happened.
It happened, yeah.
Rook is on C2 right now.
So rook takes, and probably the most precise move here is A4. I think also white can start with rook B1. White, by the way, this and now A4. Oh no, this is an accuracy.
This rook C4, rook A1.
No, if we play rook C4, then A5, and we get the same position. Yeah, but I think rook A2. And now, of course, you can play the move like rook B4, but after king F8, so what do we have now? We have the, yeah, and king F8 and steal. So once again, yeah, rook takes C2, and here probably the most precise move is A4. A4, and if rook C4, now rook B1. And now rook B1 is not, oh yeah, now rook B1, rook takes, yeah, this is another theoretical draw, by the way, and H4, very, precise move, otherwise G5 is coming, and this is another theoretical draw.
Yeah,
yeah, but we have seen so many, let's say, winning, yeah, so many winnings for the side with the pawn up. This is a theoretical draw. The plan is like, this you just play, okay, G5 or sorry, H5. So then you bring the king one day, like rook A3. Sorry, white to move, yeah. So maybe it was better just first rook A3 to cut off the king.
Yeah, then king.
And then king G7. Then you bring the king on E6. Then you play H5, A5. You push the pawn till A4 to A4. And then you sacrifice the pawn on F7, you go with the king to help your pawn.
Or to A3, to A4 or
to A3, yeah, and to A3. And
not to A2, very important.
Not to A2, yeah, once again. Okay, so...
yeah, very, also tough to calculate for multiple of all these lines.
And rook to D1.
I was wondering, will there be an opportunity not to trade the rooks, but to me, it felt like trade of the rooks is such an
no.
Because now rooks can double on the second rank, or too many weaknesses for white.
No. I believe this is a mistake. Maybe it's not like a chess mistake, but it's a practical mistake. Why do you let the rook on the second rank? The king is closer, and it's a losing a tempo. So if you know. Even if you sacrifice a pawn, you lose a pawn, but you know the position is theoretical draw, you go for it. Because this practical and game, look at the time also, the time difference. I don't know.
Yeah, it's enormous. And of course, like there is a pressure on the position and on the time.
No, I don't believe, I believe this is just a mistake, it's a big mistake. Just black brings the king to D6 now, let's say. Yeah, or to D7. And this position is, well, I don't know. I don't want to say that.
Rooks is different.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say that this position is lost, but
it looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try to find another way. So if king F8 will be played, what about rook B1?
Okay, rook B1, rook C7.
Yeah, now basically one rook is attacking for black, the other one is defending.
And D5 now, yeah? And there is no king to E7. Okay, let's say king to D8. No, now here...
now D7, D6, D7.
Rook to D7. I was trying to block the pawn, but probably now black is too passive, yeah? So let's probably then instead of rook C7, maybe B6.
And a similar situation with one pair with only one rook.
Yeah.
Is that here after A4, rook A2? Is it similar?
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah.
So now if rook B4.
Okay, rook B4, rook A, rook C2, doubling the rook on the second, and then it's. And if white pushes D5, rook C2, D6, rook F2, D7. Yeah, this is probably not. Yeah, and king E7. Yeah, just simple move king E7. d6, king, d7.
And then rook c2 is always there.
Okay, probably white can try to, maybe now rook b4 and rook f4, yeah? Rook f4, f6. Still not easy, yeah? If rook e4, then rook e2, rook c4, rook c2. Taking all the files and
too many weaknesses for white.
No, it's a bad choice for Matilov. I mean, why do you keep the position complicated? I mean, go for slightly worse but theoretical known position. Yeah, especially I know he's the student, the pupil of very famous coach Mark Dvoretsky. I mean, and a game specialist. I mean, probably he knows. I mean, all these positions, but okay, just.
And look at this, king f8 was played and a4 is on the board.
Yeah.
So rook b1 was probably a mistake in the lines.
So rook b1, b6, and probably then white is not in time for a4, a5. Yeah.
So that's why a4 first. Basically similar idea what we had, but with only one rook per each side. So after trade, we were looking at, by the way, exactly the same. So trade of the rooks on c2, king f8, and then a4. So it's the same, but with two rooks. And I like how you're mentioning, even though, you know, evaluation, as we can see, evaluation bar didn't change, but as you're saying, practically it becomes more difficult. Of course, for computers, it's so much more easier to analyze everything, and the computer sees all the lines, but for humans, probably this position brings maybe some more opportunities for mistakes from white.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, we have a draw in the game of Mishra and Fujairah.
Yeah, let's go there to check what.
And they found a way to repeat the position. Yeah. So knight a4, bishop b5, knight c3, bishop c4, knight a4 again. Yeah. So draw.
But still kudos to the players, because they had one repetition earlier, which they could have gone for. Fujairah didn't repeat, and okay, now they realize it.
Yeah, actually, it's quite objective, because black's threat is bishop to b6. Yeah. So white plays here knight a4 to stop the move bishop b6. And if white is in time to play here b3 and c4, white can get advantage, yeah, because no more d5, pawn on d6 is weak, and black plays here the move bishop b5. And if you play b3 now, probably there is bishop a5.
Oh,
and
yeah,
no
you
time.
don't want to allow this.
Yeah, no time for c4. So and any other move, we cannot develop the bishop because bishop a4, rook a4, rook takes b2. So knight c3.
Attacking the bishop.
Attacking
No,
the
there's
bishop.
no bishop b6.
Yes, exactly, because the bishop hangs. The bishop is too important to give
You
this.
cannot go to c6 because probably rook a6 maybe now
just
it's
pawn.
just pawn.
Yeah, and bishop c4 and knight a4 because you don't want to allow the bishop on b6.
Yeah,
So it's logical.
nothing artificial.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so far good tournament for Fujairah.
So let's maybe go to the board number 3, Sugiro against Pranav Anand, to check how is it going there.
Yeah, actually after rook e1, black played the move b6, not b5 but b6. Okay, the idea is the same, to keep the bishop h6, preventing the move rook h3. I mean rook h3, rook h8, rook e1, e6, and this is the current position. Yeah, so if white plays rook h3, black's intention is to play rook h8. By the way, I love tricks, so I will show you one more trick here on this position. Let's say white plays a move like a random move like a4, yeah? And you play a very natural move here, queen d6.
And it's very natural, of
Yes,
course.
and after queen takes h6,
oh,
you have once again this double attack.
Again, warning, yeah?
Yeah,
Anything
exactly.
can
King
happen.
takes and knight f7. King takes and takes the queen.
Just up 2 pawns, yeah?
Yeah. So yeah. So when I saw the pawn on h6, immediately I have this hop.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Because bishop is not defending f7 any longer.
Yeah, and okay, so of course queen d6 is just a blunder. And now if white takes, it's just, I mean, it's only 2 pawns for the piece, not enough. And if rook h3, then probably black is defending with the rook h8. Rook h8. I mean, okay, white can continue this attack. I mean, bringing the knight to f4.
Can you bring another rook also?
Also another rook. Oh yeah, this is also, by the way, interesting idea. Rook e3, rook
because
g3.
e6 is defended so much, so maybe g6 is another square we can try to attack, and maybe sacrifice on f7 at some moment.
Yeah. I like this idea very much. And rook g3 next, and then knight e2, knight f4. All the pieces are there. Yeah.
It looks great. Definitely big pressure from the white to the black here, and we see Fujairah was at the board, thinking, trying to figure it all out. Time situation, by the way, half an hour for Fujairah and for Pranav down 50 minutes, so more time. For defending side, definitely it's good to have extra time to find out all the ideas of the opponent, but of course for Fujairah it's probably much easier to find the moves and fight the play. But as for the black, what can we expect? What would you say could be ideas for black to maybe to create something on the queen side?
Well, I don't believe black is in time. I mean, even if you play like b5, b4, then just knight comes to f4. Well, I believe trading pieces is one of the, let's say, idea here. Let's say knight h7 or knight g8. I don't know, knight to h7. Okay, it's white to move now, yeah?
Yeah.
So rook h3. Can black actually play knight to g8 here?
Offering a trade.
Yes. And
queen g4.
Queen g4, queen f4, queen g4, and queen g5. I just want to trade pieces. I hope I'm not blundering anything.
For some reason.
Well, yeah, probably trade and take a rook to g3, and if f6, knight to d7.
Oh.
Some pawns are hanging there, and if king, yeah, actually, yeah. Or maybe knight d7 directly.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately, yeah. Also not bad. So queen g5 is not really working. Maybe rook a7 first, yeah, another defensive idea, just defending everything on the 7th rank. No knight d7. And then queen g5, yeah. Okay, white can stop with f4. I don't know.
Okay, f5 is not yet there, so...
Yeah, rook a7 and...
Do you want to play something like rook g3 or bring another rook to g3 with knight f7 threat or knight to g6?
Oh yeah, so rook e3 and queen to g5, yeah, now. Again.
Now it's different because now takes and then maybe knight takes g6.
King takes g6.
Or knight d5 and rook is hanging.
Oh yeah, so knight takes...
First, I think, take...
Knight takes g6.
First. Okay.
Bishop takes g2.
Okay.
Oh, so...
but my problem is that after take on d5, then the rook...
Yeah. So we are probably missing something here, yeah?
Oh, sorry, knight f7.
Oh yeah, but king takes f7, defending the rook.
Rook h8.
And rook h7, and takes the rook. Okay. So many tactical ideas in the position.
Incredible.
So, yeah, queen g5 once again is losing a pawn. Queen takes, pawn takes, and knight takes f7. Beautiful idea. Beautiful idea. Yeah, king takes check, and the rook takes, knight takes d5. And what about bishop takes g2 here?
Then just king g2.
Rook takes f7.
Wait a second. Okay, first of all, we have The same material, but weaker pawns.
Yeah, we just can try, let's say, to win the pawn g5. Rook g3, knight e4, rook e5.
Yeah, just putting pressure on the weaknesses.
Yeah. Okay, so white. So what? Actually, he did play rook a7. Not immediately, not knight. Yeah.
Ah, so he didn't go for this.
For knight, yeah, he did play rook. Not rook h3 here, but queen f4 and rook a7. Yeah. Same defensive idea.
And now probably rook h3 will come with the immediate. So of course the idea was rook h3, attacking h6, and if you play knight g8, then f7 will fall. So that's why rook a7 was very important to hold the f7 square. Now we see it.
Yeah, here actually not only knight g8, black can even try to play more aggressive, like knight h5.
Or what about rook h5?
Okay.
Rook h5.
Pawn takes.
And something here. Knight d5. No. I wanted to have some fork on c6, but it's not working.
Maybe just rook e3? With rook g3 idea?
Maybe knight. I want to say knight f7, rook f7, queen e5 check, and then knight d5, but okay, it's probably.
Yeah, but it's white will be exchanged down after all.
So just rook e3.
Rook e3, I think. Yeah. Rook e3 and rook g3 next. Okay, you can stop temporarily by playing h4.
But now knight g4.
Knight g4, queen g5. No, I think just rook h3, then anyway queen g5 is coming, yeah?
But now there is knight d5, knight c6, because rook is defended.
Knight d5, and if queen takes d5?
Then there should
be something, yeah?
Yeah, but what?
Just simple queen takes h4.
Yeah, because pawn is...
Yeah, exactly.
Now rook g3 is there.
And rook g3 is coming, queen to f6.
Knight g4 is also at some moment.
Yeah. Okay, so rook takes a7, rook a7, and now rook e3, rook h3, and yeah, probably knight h5 is a huge mistake.
Yeah, so this shouldn't happen. So knight g8.
Knight g8, and what did we say here? Rook e3, yeah?
Rook e3, rook g3, trying to put pressure. But okay. Apparently, maybe queen g5 now is working.
For f6. What do you think about such move?
Yes.
It looks a little bit, weird. Yeah, all the pawns are on the
hedgehog.
hedgehog.
Some very weird hedgehog.
Yeah, but from the other hand, white pieces might be a little bit misplaced. So let's say g5,
and
queen to g3, and now I was trying to, but maybe just simple like e5. What do you think about this? Let's say e5. Retreating the bishop to f7.
Yeah, because there is no light squared bishop for white, and there is one for black. So black will be always be able to cover those weak squares. And this looks very interesting.
Yeah, so...
it's unusual, yeah? But since there is no dark squared bishop on g7 anymore...
And white did play rook h3. So white just played rook h3, and black is thinking.
So we might see something.
So knight g8 or knight h5. Okay, knight h5 is a losing move. It's a losing move for Pranav.
Okay, rook h5 would be screaming move.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, knight g8. And again, if there is no active plan for black, it will be very difficult to just be there standing in defense. And at some moment there can be some blunder. Even though there is, again, less time on the clock for Fujairah, less than half an hour, and for Pranav it's a bit less than 50 minutes, so there is this 20 minutes difference, and I think it's definitely more comfortable to play.
Rook to h8, so no knight g8.
And look at this, apparently some slight inaccuracy or mistake, because we see elevation bar went a bit higher.
Yeah, we were expecting the move knight to g8.
Knight g8.
Knight g8.
Knight g8 looked very logical, because knight is anyway not doing much on f6, but now he's bringing the rook to the passive square. Rook from h8 will be just defending the pawn. And
hang on. No, the pawn is defended.
Rook a7.
Rook is on a7. I was trying to do the same. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Morning.
But there could be ideas
Yeah,
connected with it.
yeah. So not
Could be something.
not immediately, not immediately. So we need to improve the knight. Yeah. Knight to d1, e3, g4.
But wait a second. No. What happens after knight d5? Queen d5.
And why not knight takes d5?
Because knight c6.
And our queen hangs to.
Yeah, warning.
This is a good excuse, actually.
Yes.
Morning, yeah, morning is always hard for everyone. So, no, apparently nothing, like no, I mean,
maybe just rook e3. Maybe just
rook
continue
e3,
the
yeah.
plan.
Yeah, good idea. It's just rook e3 followed by rook g3. And what do you do now as black? I mean, okay, g5 looks too risky because rook g3. Queen, you can't move the queen. Rook, okay, you can move the rook. Maybe bishop to a8. I mean, now you have at least you have the queen d4 idea. Queen d4 idea. And if rook g3, queen d4, I believe this is fine for black.
Yeah, and where do you place your queen? Because if you go queen d2, there might be even knight e4 at some moment.
Well,
knight is hanging.
Knight is hanging, yeah. And yeah, now suddenly look at your pieces, yeah. All the rooks are misplaced. And yeah, if you trade queens,
then there is no attack anymore.
Absolutely.
And,
so bishop a8 with the idea of queen d4.
It's a huge threat.
Yeah, it's a huge threat. Okay, I was trying to sacrifice the knight on g6, but no, it's too much. Okay, let's try. Knight takes on g6, pawn takes, rook takes e6. Yeah, but no, actually no threats. Any moves like queen d4 again. Queen d4 again.
Yeah.
So maybe after rook h8, maybe rook e3 is not.
It's not a move.
Yeah, but what else? I'm trying to.
Okay, let's try to think. Can we include somehow the knight from c3?
Yeah, that would be great. But how to, like, knight d1 or knight e2? Knight e2 and then.
I think knight d1, knight e3, knight g4 somehow.
Yeah, and if I play, let's say, the same idea, like bishop a8, knight
then
e3,
again,
and again queen d4. Yeah, this is a very strong idea.
But maybe after bishop a8, we have c3.
c3, okay. Yeah.
And probably knight d4, knight d5 now.
And knight d5 now. Yeah.
Yeah. Black is managing to get this strong. So there is not much time. Literally 2 moves. So bishop a8 and queen d4.
Well, okay, white can play a safe move like knight takes d5.
Yeah, this is always safe. Yeah. Okay, queen or knight takes. Yeah, both moves.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I mean, queen or knight. Yeah, knight. Let's try to gain this tempo, and queen to d2, f3.
To keep an eye on, or g4.
And g4, yeah. Queen g4 and then queen g5. Maybe same idea. I hope I'm not blundering anything here. No.
No. Although there could be like some weaknesses on the queen side, so
yeah.
Maybe just to show for a moment, just queen g5 takes rook h8, and after king h8, we sacrifice the piece, knight f7, rook f7, rook e6, and then, but of course it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough for a piece, but yeah.
So rook f7.
Yeah, just rook e6. And like d4, taking some pawns on the queen side.
Yeah, but just simple move rook f6.
Yeah, and then it's not working.
Okay, so this is the current position, and
knight e4, is it possible?
Well, knight e4.
If you take, then I will improve my pawn. So pawn will be on e4, and suddenly there is no queen d4 anymore.
There's no queen.
And maybe
d4
rook
anymore.
d3 at some moment can be there, and we can try to use the open d file.
And we got the square f3 for the rook, by the way. This also might be interesting. Like rook f3, and you cannot move your queen. You cannot move your knight.
Yeah, I like it.
That is very interesting idea. It's very interesting. Knight e4, d4, and again, yeah, knight h5 is probably bad. But here, this time you cannot take on g5 on h5 because rook e3, queen d1 checkmate.
Oh yeah.
So you cannot leave the rook. And okay, just queen g4.
And knight has to go back.
Yeah, and
maybe
repetition.
Yeah. Test one more time.
Yeah, repetition.
But yeah, let's go back to the live position. So we were talking about, okay, we were talking rook e3, bishop a8 doesn't look like working. So we had established that
knight e4, yeah,
is interesting, yeah.
Okay.
Because yeah, other than that, bishop a8 is very tough. So let's see what Fujairah will come up with. He has 21 minutes on the clock, by the way, has to rush with the decisions. Meanwhile, let's move on to the board number 4. We have Andrew Hong against Ivan Cheparinov,
and this was the critical position.
Look at this.
Knight.
You were asking with which piece will he take, and he took with the bishop. We were discussing that.
Exactly. So he decided that it is a good idea to trade the bishops, and probably actually it is, because c6 now and e4, yeah? Logical play. I mean, take, queen takes on e4, knight c5, and queen to e3. Knight d7 back. Well, a little bit strange this maneuver, yeah? You play knight c5 here.
Then back.
And then you realize you need to target the pawn on e5, otherwise just white plays knight d4, knight f5, knight d6. And you move the knight back, queen e4, repeating once, and queen to g4. Knight e6 this time, and knight h4, yeah?
Yeah, now knight f5 is a big threat. Pawn on e5 is such a great pawn, yeah, just dividing the position in two parts. You would love to have knight on f6, but you cannot. And we will see another game where there will be a pressure on the king side, similar to Sugiro's attack. We might see Andrew Hong attacking as well here, although the time situation is different. So in this case, Hong has more time, slightly more time than Cheparinov, and for Cheparinov, of course, is also not such a great news to have not the best position. And by the way, look at the bishop on b4. It's doing nothing. It's standing very beautifully there and from the opening, but it doesn't have any targets. Of course, it probably would love to stand somewhere on c5 maybe, or to be even traded by the knight or with a bishop.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the best, let's say, the dream is just to trade for the knight. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, queen g5. No, queen g5 is not possible. Yeah, let's show this. Queen g5, queen takes g5, rook takes d1, rook takes d8, rook takes d8, and rook takes c6.
Oh, when there is a g2 square, no checkmates. So.
Exactly, that's very important.
Very important, yeah.
And okay, probably black could play this intermezzo move. Rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and now take on g5. But after rook d7, I mean, white didn't win the pawn, but instead white got a lot of activity. I mean, rook on the 7th rank, maybe knight to d6. Black will be forced to take on d6, pawn d6, and yeah,
it's a tough situation for black to be in, like just being under such a huge pressure in the endgame. Although there is no material advantage, but the activity of the pieces are just so great for white. So
yeah, and instead of let's say queen g5, if you retreat your queen to f8,
you can consider already knight h6,
knight h6,
something,
king,
some ideas.
Knight h6, king h8, yeah.
There is no yet take on f7.
I was trying. Can I play a3 here? Yeah.
Oh, a3
and the point being that now I have this intermezzo. Yeah.
Oh, very
king
nice.
h8 and bishop takes a3 and queen takes a3. So finally, look at the bishop. Yeah. So the bishop is not only misplaced but could be also a target.
No, it's a great idea. I really love it.
Knight f5, queen f8, and a3. And if bishop c5, no, rook takes c5, no, doesn't work. And b4 here takes, bishop b4, knight h6, knight f7, but that one is not really working. Yeah, so bishop c5, yeah?
Yeah, bishop c5, but can you sacrifice an exchange?
Always.
And then get the knight on d6?
And how do you do this? So,
yeah, that's
if you take them rook d1, so yeah. Okay, so maybe a6 was just a tricky move. And, okay, let's say white can play just king g2, maybe preparing the move f4. Or h4, h5, by the way, another idea. Yeah, let's say just h4, followed by h5.
Yeah, there is a lot of time, like all the time in the world now for white, because I don't see the way for black to improve the pieces. I mean, the knight on e6 is like great, it's standing, and it's maximum where it can get. It cannot get better. The same also with the queen on f8, it just has to defend the squares. It cannot get out. Bishop on b4 is also stuck. Rooks defending each other, defending the pawn. Feels like the full position of the black is stuck. So I think white has all the time in the world to fulfill plans.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, just h5, king g2. I mean, probably black's only hopes is to trade some pieces here. Takes, and rook d8. Yeah, this one, yeah. And h5, let's say rook takes d1, queen takes d1, queen d8. I'm just trying to hold this endgame. Okay, so rook e to d8, and white is thinking, of course, knight f5 is the most obvious move here. I mean, I don't know what else white can play. No, knight f5, maybe some, I know, okay, maybe some sacrifice. Can white try, I don't know, I'm just, okay, not our pieces.
Yeah.
Rook to d6, not knight to d6, but rook to d6, because the knight is very important in the attack.
Trying to sacrifice.
Yeah, and if, yeah, it's so-called passive sacrifice, yeah? I mean, black is not forced to take.
Because now there is a threat of a3 now in the position.
Yeah.
So he's in a way forced to take.
Well, okay, the pawn on c6 hangs. Let's and if black takes, now takes, and
ooh, knight e7, knight h6, and everything.
Yeah. And also rook e1, rook takes e6, g7 is a target. And if g6, I know g6, knight e7.
Oh, so many tactical ideas for
and if rook
white.
takes d6, oh yeah, there is a tactical idea here too. Okay. Bishop takes g7.
Oh, and then.
And if knight takes g7, knight takes d6.
Oh, and then
and the
queen is overloaded.
Yeah, the queen is overloaded. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
very
you know,
nice.
when you work with the kids, you see all these tricks like easily, much easier than before. Yeah, so rook to d6, but by the way, this is actually not a bad idea, I believe, this rook to d6. So knight f5, queen I mean...
Okay, computer dislikes it, but it's very, very great idea. I mean, human-wise, it looks amazing. Targeting the pawn on c6, and what do? I mean, you cannot play c5 because there will be a3.
Yeah, it reminds me the type of sacrifice played by Anand against Kasparov and their World Championship match back in 1995, if I'm not mistaken, where he played the rook on the same square on d6.
Sacrifice.
Or on d5, Actually, it was a sacrifice.
D5.
Rook on d5, and Kasparov took the rook. He wasn't forced to take the rook, but he took the rook, and Anand scored a nice win. Yeah, this was the same type of the sacrifice. So yeah, that time was rook on d5, but here rook on d6. Okay, so
it's still very interesting. Yeah, very tough position for Cheparinov to be in right now, but now it's Andrew Holm who is calculating all this. But I think we expect knight f5 to be played.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, of course, knight f5 is the most
natural.
Yeah, natural. I think I'm just bring the knight to f5.
All right, we have another game at the board number 5, the battle between Donchenko and Jacobson.
Wow.
Oh.
What's going on here? How did they
Wait.
get this?
Okay,
Yeah.
we're discussing that
Yeah.
there was some. We were calculating one of the lines, and Donchenko went for the worse.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
to say, a bit worse variation.
Yeah, so this is exactly here. He played the move bishop to g5, queen b6, bishop e3. So white is ready to repeat the moves. Black said no, not today.
Wait a second, there was something else here for black. Look at the evaluation. He's
Taking the
queen
pawn,
b2.
bishop d4. Okay, I think queen c7 is just fine. I think queen c7 is just fine. Maybe
want to try to find some
c5, I believe, is the computer's choice.
But then there is d5.
Yeah, now queen takes b2. It's typical computerish, I know.
So you know already computer.
I know already. I work so much with the machine, so I can guess already the moves, the evaluations, and so on.
Amazing.
So yeah, and queen to c7. Okay, it's like natural human move. I mean, f4, knight jumps to g4, e5, knight takes f2, take on f6. Look at the position, and knight takes h3. Okay, taking on g7, rook e8, take on h3. What do we have here? And queen to e7. Yeah. What about the move like d4 here? No, just bishop takes d4, yeah? Against c5, I believe.
Again?
Yeah, this is like...
because bishop on e3.
This is my thing. No, wrong. This time I'm wrong. Yeah, because probably it allows to... No, if castle, then queen c7. Queen e7 winning a piece. Then what is the move here? What is the move here if not castle, if not queen d5? Maybe just king f1?
Wow, just cold-blooded.
And if d4, bishop d2, bishop f2, followed by bishop f3.
Oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, and queen e7, king f2 is on the board.
Wow, what a position! I mean,
yeah, you could actually play bishop f2. Bishop f2, queen e4.
Queen h1, big threat.
Yeah, you cannot
but
castle.
Now king d1.
King d1, well, check.
Bishop e1 or queen e1.
Queen e1 and just a move like.
Just queen. No.
Queen takes h3. Yes, why not? Yeah. And look at white king coming. White just rook e4, rook e8 is coming.
Oh.
Yes.
This is tough stuff here.
King f2, and now black is thinking.
So king f2 was played.
Yeah, queen takes h4, probably king g2. No, king g2, but queen e7 back. I mean, winning the pawn. It's not. It's not about repetition. It's just winning the pawn.
And back.
And back. Yeah, and if you play king f2 now.
Now we can continue thinking.
Yeah, by I don't know what. d4.
Okay, d4 maybe some
no,
queen
d4. Queen d4, then rook d8. Okay, let's try d4. Not our pieces once again. So queen takes d4, rook to d8.
I like how computer is always saying it's all equal, you know.
Yeah.
We're going into all
queen to c5 and queen h4 check. King g2 and rook d2. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
Wow.
No, yeah.
Apparently.
Because queen
f8.
Queen f8
checkmate.
Queen f8.
So
no
bishop f2 probably.
Yeah, exactly. No time for beauties. Yeah, because this rook takes d2 and
checkmate.
And this pawn actually is still alive. This pawn is still alive.
This is insane. Yeah. At the end of the line, this pawn on g7 decides the outcome.
Yeah. So king f2, black is thinking, okay, I mean, black can play c5? Try the same idea. Let's say c5. And then rook d8 at d4. If c3, then rook d8, d4, just pushing the pawns in the center. I don't know.
Yes.
This c5, I believe, is just a possible idea.
Yeah, and we see that for now Jacobson is taking time, so he's still considering to go. But I think it's something on his radar. Yeah, he's watching this c5 move, and yeah, and this is such an interesting unbalanced position because usually when there is usual position with two bishops against the rook. I mean, this, of course, always preferred by the side with two light pieces, but in this case, I mean, the king of white is so open, so anything can happen there. Is he also watching at queen h4 here?
I believe, yeah. And okay, so in let's say in the worst scenario, black can repeat the position.
And then come again with c5.
Yeah, no, I mean, just repeat and just say make draw. I mean, just a repetition is possible.
But I'm just wondering if he can just take the pawn, come back, and then go c5. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same idea.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the scenario, one of the possible scenario, and just play c5 now, and then bringing the rook to d8, d4, maybe rook d8, rook d6, rook e6. Yeah. So you have the same position. You just pawn on h4 is no longer on the board.
What do you say? Shall we move on to the board number 8, what is the board of Michal against Asel Narayan?
Yeah, and actually,
change.
yeah, we got here, black played the move f6, queen b5, rook to b8, a4, a6, queen to c4, knight to d8. Yes, same idea, similar idea. But this time white got some space on the queen side. And queen b3, knight d6, okay. And d5, yeah? Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit different situation, yeah? Look at white's pawn on a5. So if you play b6, white take on b6, I mean, pawn a6 hangs, you have no time to bring your knight to c5. And if you don't bring the knight, white can push the pawn, yeah? c4, c5, or queen a3, c4, c5.
Yeah, too much space on the queen side for white.
Yeah.
And what could be continuation
okay,
here?
Black can try to play f5. I don't know how good.
Right away, or?
Yeah, because okay, if you just keep waiting, I mean, white just pushes on the queen side, and let's say the version can be like just worse if you try to push later. Okay, let's try f5. Take on f5, knight takes f5. No, e3 pawn hangs, maybe queen can jump to c5, to g5. I mean, it's different scenario, yeah? So now white should take care of his pawn. I mean, the king might be weak, I mean, it's diagonal. Yeah, f5, I believe this is the right moment to play f5, if you want to. Yeah. So f5 now, yeah? I mean, no other move than taking, and knight takes f5. So c4, you can defend by c4, but then queen comes to c5.
Yeah, and there is pressure on the e3.
Yeah.
And if you play e4?
If you play e4, then queen c5, knight e3 might be an idea.
Yeah, very annoying one.
And then the knight on g4.
And f2 square is such a weakness.
Yeah.
So white has to be also careful.
By the way, black can play also in a positional way, like knight to d6.
Oh.
Now the
bringing knight back, yeah. So push f5 and knight.
Yeah, yeah. Now the queen is active on c5. Knight cannot move because the pawn on e4 is.
Queen e3 is a threat, by the way.
Queen e3 is a threat, yeah. Actually, an unpleasant one, a very unpleasant one. Also, the pawn on a5 might be hanging in some lines.
Also, rook f2, rook f8.
So we like black, yeah, more.
Yes, I mean, somehow here. So that means that after f5, there should be some correct way for white to respond. Because if white is not responding correct, then it's going to be a different.
Hang on, actually it happened.
Oh, wait.
Black did play f5, and white played the move c4.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if there is opportunity not to take, and I was thinking about c4, c5.
But this is a pawn sacrifice, by the way. Takes. This happened in the game.
And now black is the one who has the double pawns, but it's an extra pawn.
Exactly. So in some moments we are just counting material. So queen c2. Oh yeah, queen c2 is probably.
Queen h4.
Queen h4
Still can hold on the pawn.
Oh yeah. g3, queen g4, yeah. And probably here white just push.
Yeah, too
pushes
much
the pawn,
space
yeah.
on the queen side.
Push the
Yeah,
pawn.
computer enjoys a clear advantage for white here.
And then pawn c6 or d6 maybe, just pawn. Okay, and if you don't defend the pawn, well, then what do? Queen c5, queen e4, yeah.
Yeah, not an easy position. I don't know even for whom. Now I believe I would prefer white to play with, even though I'm down a pawn. It's more comfortable position. I have more space and I have a clear plan. And for black, if black has to defend the pawns, then of course it's going to be a sad game because white's position is just great. The pawn structure is amazing. And at some moment there can be a passer of the d file from c5, d6 in the endgame, and the pawn on a5 will be holding 2 pawns on the queen side. It will be worth 2 pawns.
Yeah, yeah. This very nice explanations of the strategical ideas of the position. So yeah, probably black should just try to hold the position with h6, queen takes c4, and something like, I don't know, on b6 is not possible. Yeah, it's not easy. And it's not easy for black because no real counterplay. No real counterplay. Yeah, very good move, very good decision.
And also look at the clock, by the way. Look at the clock situation. If we go back to black position, 12 minutes for Nihal Sarin and 40 minutes for Narayan. Wow. And Nihal is taking time here.
And what happened here?
Wait, trade.
Trade first,
okay,
yeah?
Trade.
So queen takes, because probably rook takes, queen takes b7.
So now rook f1.
And rook f1, then queen c5. And no, maybe now queen c2. Maybe now queen c2, followed by queen e4. Everything is under control. Everything is protected. And queen e4 comes with tempo, attacking the pawn.
But I want to see one to show one trick maybe.
Okay.
If we can try rook f1.
Yes.
And then let's say queen
c5.
Okay, but then we need one more extra move. So my idea was if we play king h1 and let's say queen would take at some moment on e3. Of course, now it's defended.
Yeah.
Then there will be queen b7.
Oh, yes.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
So I don't know how do we do this.
But by the way, I know. Yeah. So king queen c5. Okay, we can play like a move like queen e7.
Yeah,
king
just
h1.
for the sake of illustrating this.
Queen c5.
Queen b2, for example.
Or, yeah, queen b2, attacking the pawn on e3, on e5. Queen takes e3 and queen takes b7. Yeah, nice trick, nice trick.
And then somehow the pawns on the queen side is falling. I see computer says, okay, it's not such a great idea, but something what players also have to consider during the calculation, which makes it even harder for them. But there could be such tricks, but one more time you're saying now queen c5 is...
Yeah, it's kind of unpleasant. I believe that the move should be here, queen c2.
Attacking the e4.
Yeah, and probably taking back. I don't believe black can defend because queen f5.
Yeah, rook f1.
Rook f1 is coming. Queen g6 and now queen to b2.
And now queen b2 double
and
attack.
Now queen b2 double attack. Yeah, this similar idea. Okay, queen d6. Black can defend the square f8 and pawn on b7. And then we have repetition.
There is also queen c5 C2. Here, but I don't know. It's like
queen c5 and the pawn on d5.
Ah, yes, we cannot take.
Yeah, and queen c2, queen g6, and we have again repetition.
One more draw.
Yeah.
In Noviera, while we were looking at this game, yeah, queen c2, by the way, is played now by Nihal, so it's SL's turn. I would suggest to go to one of the boards. I just realized the big difference in the time, which is board number 10. If you look at this, 50 minutes for Sam Shankland and 5 minutes for Alan Pichot. I just want to see what is going on in this position. Maybe we don't have to go through the full game, but just the current position or recent moves, like which.
Yeah, let's go to
maybe a bit.
Wow, this was again. It was Giocopiano from the picture.
Yes, very sharp.
Was this Giocopiano? Okay, I'm just curious.
Just for the interest.
Yeah. No, it was kind of Giocopiano, but it was.
It was Ruy Lopez.
Ruy Lopez Arcangel variation.
Yeah.
So takes, queen to c1. Okay, bishop g5 and okay, extremely sharp position. F6, queen d7, and c4. Wow, what a move! Here c4. We just sacrifice the knight on b4, taking on b3, f5. Knight takes, and queen b3. So white is pawn up, but all black's pieces are active. Rook e8, and this is the current position, yeah? So
very sharp one. Is there some rook e6 idea?
rook e6, I'm afraid that, yeah, I know, you can take back with the knight, with the queen, yeah? So knight g3, queen takes g3 here. Rook e6, yeah?
And also knight defending the rook on f1. So.
Yeah, so the knight. No, actually, this was my idea to sacrifice the queen.
Oh, wow.
But no, you have the square g4 for the king.
You
Let's say, imagine if the pawn would be on g4 on h5, so then it will be bishop g1 check, and at least perpetual.
At least perpetual.
At least perpetual, but no, not in this scenario. So rook e6, I like this move. I like this move, and what black can do here? Well, take on h4, bishop h4.
I don't think black will take on e6.
No, no.
But rook h6 is a threat.
Rook h6 is a threat. Maybe just black
Bishop
can
d6.
ignore all the threats by playing queen g4.
By the way, rook e6 is on the board.
Rook e6 is on the board. Very good. Very good.
This is the current position. And Alan Pichot has 5 minutes only in such a sharp position. It's so very tough.
Knight to f4 played instantly, or almost instantly. Okay, so bishop takes, or rook takes h6. By the way, can white just take the pawn?
The pawn is a pawn, yeah.
Yeah. So rook takes h6, and now some sacrifices, knight g2, or knight e2, but knight e2, just the knight does nothing there.
You know, I feel like we're going to have a lot of leaders after this round because there's so many players like Sam Shankland now who can score a full point, getting with 1.5, with 2.5, no, sorry.
This is
2.5 out of, or does he have 1 point? I just want to check. He played 2 draws. No. So he didn't win the second game.
Draws,
so it's not so many players with a 1.5.
By the way, we have a result on board number 12, and Salim won the game.
Okay, let's probably
against the
quickly
Zaga,
and
and look at the position. It looks so sharp. So it was Slav defense, knight h4. Taking the bishop.
Oh, long castle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not surprised to see it from Stella. But
okay, and h5 direct way, just attacking the position. b5 and bishop takes e6. Look at this. Bishop takes e6. Obviously, black cannot take the bishop because queen takes e6 and then just h takes g6. Pawn h5, bishop f5, and knight e4. Yeah, bishop spare. The h file is open. All the advantages are on the board.
Amazing.
g6 and just sacrificing the rook.
Wow.
Wow, this is really wow. Take the rook and rook takes h5. So white is down a rook. No.
But upper position, yeah.
Upper position, but no concrete threats. I mean, no threats.
So he was believing in his attack. He calculated everything.
Okay, maybe just queen d1, queen h1.
But king g7.
7 now, rook h7 check. Rook h7 check. And then bring the queen. Yeah, maybe this is the idea. I don't know. And yeah, queen d1 actually. Yeah, it's.
And black cannot do anything about it.
Black cannot do anything. Wow. Amazing. And the bishop h6, bishop f6, queen h1,
king is starting to...
and bishop to e1. Look at this slow maneuver. So improving the bishop comes to g3 and to h4, yeah. Changing the defender. King b1, bishop g7, bishop g5. What a move. Threatening rook h8, checkmate.
Oh.
Queen e5.
Wait, now just f4. There is no space for the queen.
And queen takes f5, rook h8.
Checkmate.
Checkmate to 4. Wow,
what
this
a
is
beautiful game.
Yeah, beautiful, really beautiful game. I mean, you sacrifice the rook for 2 pawns only. and you slowly improve the position. Yeah, bringing the queen, bringing the bishop to e1 to g3. Impressive.
Are you satisfied by this?
I'm proud of my student.
Amazing.
Yeah, Salim won a nice game. Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, huge congratulations for Saleh Salim. I think it's also a good moment for us to go on a break before the time trouble kicks in the round 3 of the Fujairah Global Chess Championship. So dear viewers, thank you for watching. We hope you're enjoying the show, the broadcast, and we will be right back after the break. And welcome back, dear viewers. And we are coming back also with a result on one of the top boards. We have stunning win by Andrew Hon against Ivan Cheparinov. We didn't see what happened because it just happened during the break, but let's break it down, VRL.
Yeah,
What was
so
there?
after knight f5, black didn't play the move queen f8, but queen to c7. And here we have this rook d6 idea.
This was your idea earlier,
Well,
in a different position.
Yeah, in a different position, but probably here is even much stronger because if black takes on d6, then the pawn on g7 is immediately hanging. And now rook takes c6 is a huge threat. You cannot take queen c6 because knight e7. So rook d6, queen to b7, well, another losing of time. I mean, and rook to d1, yeah? I mean, once again, this is a passive type of defense, but you don't have moves because now rook takes d8, knight takes, queen takes g7, checkmate is hanging, g6 and queen to h4. Wow. Just queen h4.
Sacrificing a knight. So what happens if black takes the knight and black did take?
Yes. Just
because
trading
winning
everything.
back.
And queen g5 check.
Oh, such a nice.
It's important
touch.
intermediate touch. Yeah, exactly. So before taking the knight, because if you take the knight, then bishop comes to f8 and black can still fight. But queen g5, it's very important that you check.
Yeah, and wherever king goes, then there is a take on d8, and there is no bishop f8 anymore, and king is just alone there after e6. Oh, just game over.
Yep, beautiful game, beautiful play. I mean, from the beginning till the end by Hong Andrew. Congratulations. I mean, to beat Cheparinov in such a nice attacking style, but wow, it's really an achievement. It's a big achievement for Andrew.
And what does it say for the tournament? It means Andrew Hong right now is joining potential leaders. Of course, we still have Motilov with 2 out of 2, but it looks like he's going to fight for a draw, so he will not win this game, although anything can happen, of course.
Yeah.
And by the way, how is he doing? Maybe let's move on to the board number 2, because I see he's lower on the clock and the position.
Yeah, actually, this everything that we predicted happened. I mean, more or less, let's say. Rook to b2, rook e1 check, king to d6, and rook e4, yeah? Well, rook g2, rook c2, and rook f4, f6, and h4. White is trying to get some space for the king, maybe by playing h5. One day, maybe king can escape to h3, g4, I don't know.
And also h4 is a good move for trading the pawns. So now anytime g5 will come, it will be always a straight to eliminate the pawns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you are an inferior in game, you always want to trade as many pawns as possible. So this is h4 move, and black is thinking now. Black is thinking.
Only 1 minute for white, by the way. Not so easy.
Wow.
Task.
And what do you think? Can black try to play rook a2 here? If you trade the rooks,
Is there rook g4?
then g5, and rook might be trapped. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to play first h5.
h5, and rook takes a5 and rook g5. Yeah.
Oh, black is in time to defend.
Here, rook h7 and rook. Yeah. And once again.
Okay,
so,
I'm thinking, what about d5 move? d5, giving up a pawn.
I'll take everything.
You take on a5 first.
Just take everything.
My idea was king d5 rook before, but of course you take first on a5.
Rook f5 immediately. Rook f5
Just
immediately.
defending.
Yeah, just defending and threatening rook b5 move, and king c6, rook c5. Yeah, this is probably holdable. This probably, although let's say the move a6 looks unpleasant to me with the idea rook b2, rook b5. Might be, and
maybe rook c5, and if rook b2, rook somewhere. The c8, no.
Rook c8, rook b5, and rook to g8. But two passers are, well, let's say king to f3. Okay, maybe it's time to activate the king and rook to b5 now, yeah? Oh, it's still unpleasant, this endgame. I mean, you have to play very precise. And with 1 minute on the clock, okay, I mean, just you need to find all the moves. I'm not sure this is possible. So h4, black is still thinking.
And maybe just to recall our viewers, earlier there was an opportunity to trade one pair of rooks for Motilov. He didn't do it, and now he might struggle in this two pairs of rook. I mean, one pair of rook against another pair of rook endgame. So it's yeah, definitely not such an easy way to save this one. But yeah, one more time. So rook a2
Rook A2.
feels like forcing. Rook a2.
Okay, actually, rook b1 might be a better move here. Let's say, and if rook b2, and now I thought that I can win this tempo, but actually it's a worse version.
But now a6 in the middle.
Yeah, a6 and the middle rook b5. It's much better version comparing to the game, comparing to the previous line. So rook a2, rook takes, rook f5, a6, stopping rook b5 and preparing the maneuver rook b2, rook b5. And how white can hold this one?
Is there any g4, g5, or it's not in time? g4, rook b2, g5, rook b5.
And take on h6.
Take on h6.
And then rook f5, take on g7.
g7.
Wow.
Okay,
let's try. I like this idea. So rook b2, g5, and if rook b5, then just taking on h6.
Okay,
interesting line.
Computer is laughing at us. There was something, something in between. Maybe here.
Laughing. Yeah. Okay. Just probably first takes, and now rook b5.
Yeah.
And no time to promote the pawn.
Yeah.
It's actually very simple. Okay. So.
The g4 idea is not working.
G4 idea is probably not working. And okay, maybe just white centralize the king. I mean, if you don't know what to do in the end game, you just centralize your king.
Improve the piece, and the king is very important.
And king e4, and if you play now rook b5, actually white just can play h5, a move like h5 here.
And then going into the pawn endgame, oh wait.
Well, going to the pawn endgame, this requires a lot of calculation actually. I don't know. I think this is very difficult.
Ah, wait a second, king. No. No, if king goes to f5, then there is just b4, no?
Or according to engine, white is winning here, which hard to believe. Hard to believe this.
Wait a second, is there king d3? King d3, king d5,
d5,
king c3. So trying to go somehow for the pawns on the queen side. And the problem is that at some moment there will be all moves played, all tempos played, and maybe it's h5 now.
Yeah.
You know, just to.
Okay, maybe it's not about tempos. We just go very direct for the pawn.
And then there is b7 hanging.
And then b7, and of course you don't lose, but you are closer with the king. Just one tempo closer, yeah? And king to c6, and king b4, and you are shouldering the king. And again, you are shouldering the king. Okay, or maybe not too much, you just go direct for the pawns.
Yeah.
You are just closer to the pawns.
Interesting. It felt like first that pawn endgame might be even winning for black, but
yeah, but actually this pawn on a5 is very important. And what happened in the game? So rook a2 happened, rook a2, rook b1, rook b2, and rook e1. So white prefers to keep all the rooks on the board.
Okay, but now a5 pawn is hanging.
Yeah, but and rook e4, this is probably the idea. This is probably the idea.
Win the pawn on g7.
And by the way, and if rook a2, this check is just king d5. Okay, once
Wait
again.
a second.
Yeah, exactly. So rook e1, rook takes pawn, and
rook g4.
Rook g4, g5.
G5, the same story.
Yeah. And rook e8 probably. This is the way. This is the way. And rook 2 threatening rook g8. So white keeps the rook on f4, defending the pawn on f2, and the other rook is just attacking the pawns, yeah? Rook g8, rook b8, rook a8, maybe h5 one day.
What about rook c2, rook c7?
Okay, then you go passive. I mean, let's say rook to g8, rook to c7, and no h5, no h5. And two passers, yeah? Two patters.
Patters.
Well,
Okay. Maybe rook b8 somehow first.
well,
Attacking.
or rook to d8 check some. Okay, maybe this is important
Trickery.
check.
Ah.
Yeah, this is actually important check.
Yes.
King to e7, and now maybe rook to g8, king to f7, and now rook b8, and this is probably very important, this tempo, rook to c7, and now what?
Computer says no.
No, yeah. Okay, so here probably rook to d8 for some reason. But this is so hard, yeah? And then you push the pawn. So
How to
that is
understand?
no, it's not easy. It's not easy. And now you push the
If it's the
pawn.
only move, which is folding.
Yeah, but very strange. I mean, you are down to 1 minute, and you need to find all these only moves, yeah?
No, this is definitely not something you want to get and just try to solve it. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to board number 3 because Sugirov is, yeah, we had the position after, we left around here, yeah, and he took on d5, yeah, simple solution. So the bishop
We were
is too strong.
discussing this line also.
Yeah, knight e4, yeah, knight takes d5, and queen to e4, yeah.
No, knight c6.
Knight f6 back, and queen e2, rook to
Decline in
c7.
repetition.
Yeah, rook f3, queen d5.
By the way, we were talking about similar positions where rook is allowed to go to f3, putting pressure on the knight on f6 and also f7 square.
Rook f3, queen d5 on b3. Yeah, just defending the pawn a2. Queen d4, queen to d2. Well, maybe c3. White wants to play the
c3,
moves.
queen f4, just putting pressure.
Knight d5, stopping c3. But c4, yeah, it looks. I mean.
Wait, can you go back to f6?
Yeah.
No, I mean, so sorry, I meant with a knight to f6, so c4.
And this position, yeah?
No, I meant after c4 happened, so cannot black bring knight back to f6, or what is happening?
Okay, let's try. I think rook f4 and d4. Rook f4, queen, or queen c3, by the way. This is very dangerous. If you play queen to d6, queen to c3.
And knight g4.
And so many threats. Rook f6, knight g4. I mean, everything is hanging there. So probably black missed this idea of c4. So queen c3, trying to keep the queen on the long diagonal. Queen e2, knight f6, and d4. Wow, what a move! What a move! d4 takes and g3.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Wow.
Wondering.
But this is really amazing. But why not rook to d3? Okay, maybe just let's make it simple.
Queen f4.
And g3 now. What is the big difference? So rook to d3.
Somehow queen f4 is not the most precise.
And where do you go to h4?
Queen h4
yeah?
is the only.
And now we play the same g3.
Queen h5 now. Or, no.
Queen h5, queen b2. Same idea.
And now rook f3 one more time will be go.
Yeah, exactly.
Or knight d7, by the way. Knight d7 is also.
Or knight d7, yeah, it's a threat. Okay, so anyway, I mean, like g3, queen to d8, and rook to d1 first, and now queen to b2. It's white is just dominating the position, yeah.
Oh, look at this queen on b2. It's just brilliant. Looking at the king.
And look next after h5. Guess the move.
Rook f6.
Well, rook
rook
f6,
f6
queen
first.
f6.
Is there knight d7?
Knight d7, probably rook takes d7, rook d7, queen f6, king g8. Foldable.
Yes, still foldable.
Yeah.
You know the move.
I know the move. I saw the move. Sorry.
Okay, no, just one moment. I will try.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. This is like this is like psychological. Black's last move is h5 to prevent g4.
But it's still possible.
But still possible.
G4.
Yeah, still possible g4.
Ah.
And this is the move what black. And if you take on g4, knight takes g4, winning a piece.
And look at this also. Look at the body language of Pranav here. Pranav Anand is in deep trouble, and yeah, looking also at how he's sitting at the board, it feels the same. Although he has so much time on the clock, 22 minutes, but I don't think it's going to help.
Yeah, g4, yeah, and just
amazing.
Yeah, of course, probably black missed this move. And what do? Yeah, so the g5 now is a huge threat.
Can black play also g5 to try, but
g5 and h4 now.
Oh, wow.
So we have this nice setup, yeah, nice.
No matter what will be played, next move will be either pawn takes on g5 or pawn g5.
Yeah, yeah, so h4 still possible, yeah. And what do you do if you play a move like king to g8? Well, trying just to go out of the pin. So many ideas now. Knight g6 is one idea, g5 another idea. What do you? And knight takes f7, the third idea.
Too many ideas.
Yes. Okay. Knight takes f7. Let's go with the most direct one. If queen takes, then rook f6. If king takes, then g5.
Oh.
And then rook takes f6, queen c2. I don't know. It's just game over. It's just game over. So g4. g5, h4, taking on g4 loses a piece. I don't know.
Yeah, also computer says it's completely winning. I mean, the computer also cannot probably find any solution. I mean, we see and both of the players holding their head, by the way. Both of the players are focused, thinking about the position, but definitely it's Anand who is right now in the big trouble. Yeah, tough, very tough.
Yeah. Let's go to board number 5 because it was a position where with unbalanced position and it's still unbalanced.
It's very unbalanced.
Yeah. So
and what changed in the position? No queens and pawns for the white. That's what they.
And they are following our advice, like c5, then check. Okay, a little bit different order. Just draw in the pocket and d4. Yeah. Takes, queen takes. Rook to d8, queen to c3, rook to c8, queen here, and rook to c2. Look at this move. Rook to c2, boom.
Oh, you cannot take because queen is 3.
And why actually you cannot take?
Let's see, queen takes, queen is 3.
King f1, I believe this is the only move.
Yes, queen f4.
Queen f4 and king to
e1.
g2? e1, g2? Maybe g2, hoping for bishop f3.
I'm trying to hold.
Yeah, rook e3. Well,
so maybe that's why queen h3 was more important move, not queen takes f4, but queen h3.
Queen h3, yeah. So no
king g2.
No king g2. Okay, king g1, queen g3 back, king f1, taking another pawn, then king g2, yeah, finally. Or maybe rook e3 here. Oh yeah, this I believe is just game over.
Oh, and now queen h4. Queen
Not
f4
really,
is
yeah.
Yeah, something is
okay,
there to hold for white.
Okay, then h4, h3, and
h2, h1.
Yeah, and h0 if possible, yeah. h4.
For some reason, computer says
not
really. Yeah.
Okay, guessing is well.
Okay, what about take? So we try maybe take on f4. So there is no pawn on h3. Maybe it's a different story.
Yeah. And now rook e3, yeah?
Yeah, now rook e3.
And what is the difference?
No pawn on h3.
No pawn on h3, then we have the square g4. Also material, actually. I mean, after taking the pawn on g7, 3 pawns for the piece plus strong attack. Yeah, I believe white here just, just lost.
What is the current position?
Yeah, and the current position is queen to d3, Rook b2, rook c1, rook takes a2, just collecting everything. Rook c5, white is trying to block the e file by playing rook e5. Queen h4 check, king g2, and queen e1, yeah?
Oh. Yeah, queen e1.
And game over. Just resigning. King to f3, only move. Queen h1 check. So many possibilities here. Yeah, I think queen e1. Queen e1 check. Where do you go here? King f2.
Queen h2.
Queen h2. King f1.
You can take all the pawns.
Taking another pawn. King f2. Queen h2. King f1. And now after.
Maybe queen g3. Oh wait, there is.
Then rook e5. Yeah. Rook e5 also
Rook
a1 check.
yeah.
From there. Yeah, it's just impossible to hold this position. It's just impossible.
Yeah, this is such a crazy game. At first, I think it was Donchenkov was a bit more ambitious, so to say, trying to go for this line, and at the end it will be Jakobsen who will triumph. And if he will manage to win, I mean, looks like he will join the leaders with 2.5 points after the round 3. And one more time, we have Pranav with 2.5 points. We have Suleiman Lee. And we have Andrew Hong, who already won game against Chaparino. So we have these 3 so far. And we might see Jakobsen joining them in the lead. Yeah, so we will see, we might see what we were discussing. Yeah, this queen h2, queen h3.
Okay, yeah, you check the pawn first and then you think, yeah? Yeah,
Yes.
This is actually what he's doing now. And king f1 once again.
It's the only move because king e1, there is queen g3. And there is no bishop f2 because queen takes d3.
Okay, let's show this variation
Very
to our
beautiful.
viewers. And queen takes d3 and yeah, now black is just so king f1. Hang on, was king e1 played? Yes,
King
I
e1,
think,
yes.
yeah, king
Wait
e1.
a second. Now queen g3. Queen g3 is on the board.
And that's
And there
it.
is resignation.
And that is it,
Resignation. The game is over. Jakobsen is winning his black pieces against Donchenko in a very big fighting fashion, creating such a huge attack with a rook against 2 bishops. Truly amazing games. I mean, so much fight in chess, although it's a morning round. I mean, I would not expect this, but we are getting this here at the first Fujairah Global Chess Championship. I mean, truly amazing. And one more time, Jakobsen is joining the leaders. Now there are 4 of them. It's Pranav, Suleiman Lee, and Andrew Hong, and now also Brandon
So
Jakobsen.
4 players are leading, and we might see one more.
Let's go to the
On
board,
board
number
number
2.
two.
But look at this. What happened?
This is what I was actually expecting.
This is the
It's like-
line.
I know he did play rook d1. Wow, amazing. Matulyov found the move rook d8, the only move. After rook c7, d5 is a mistake. I mean, the most, let's say,
Natural.
obvious natural move here, yeah? And you just, and this is just a losing move. Okay, probably rook e4 is the then just.
Oh, but
Yeah,
okay,
rook
it's,
e4. Okay,
it's not easy.
Okay, if you are so low on time, of course you might just miss this. And
You
king-
were predicting this. There will be
no,
mistakes.
but it was so clear. I mean, I'm surprised that such experienced player as Matulyov just went to this, and now white is lost. White is lost because rook on c7 is defending all the weak pawns. I mean, g7, b7, pawn d5 is lost, and just a7 and b7, 2 passed pawns are just deciding the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so rook g4 and king takes d5. Yeah, concrete approach. I mean, no rook d5, no g5, but king takes d5. Okay, rook g7, rook
Activating.
g7, and b5.
Yeah, now it's a different rook endgame. Now it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
It's not what he would have had if he traded the rooks instantly. And in the position where white was up a pawn, remember that back then there was like
Yeah.
position was up a pawn for white. White appeared in this position where there are 2 passers on the queen side. Of course, black is up a pawn, but there is 3 against 2, which will be very difficult to create a passer. And this pawn, by the way, on b file, it's very fast.
Yeah, and once again, I believe the mistake was that white didn't trade one pair of rook. I mean, you should change the rooks. You should change the rooks. I mean, even from practical point of view, play the endgame with pawn down, but theoretical, if you know this is the theoretical draw, okay, you suffer a little bit, but you make a draw, yeah? Instead of, he went for, let's say, a playable endgame with the equal number of pawns, but black is much active. It's much easier to play with black pieces, and especially if you are down to, to seconds only. And okay, the game is over. Nothing to see here. I mean, king b6, rook b8, activate the rook. But let's say king to c6, rook to b8, and rook somewhere like a3, a4. I don't know, a2. Any just, and then you just.
Can you try to win the pawns on the king side to get something at least?
Yeah, but white is, black is much faster. Black is much faster. Number of pawns are not important.
It's important how advanced.
How advanced our pawns are. So, yeah, this is the position. So, okay, also black can play here the move a6, by the way, with the same idea to activate the rook. Just.
I remember we were saying, oh, it's just equal, it will be a draw, I remember when
this is what I was expecting.
When we got to this queen and 2 rooks, in this position, it was like, oh, they will trade all the pieces and soon it will be a draw. And you see, Jose Martinez continued pushing, and that's where we were getting truly impressive. This is what happens, first of all, due to such strong players in the field, and secondly, also, I think the whole format of the event, the time control is also contributing to all of this, to see more fights, more fighting chess on the board. So probably it's a moment for us to check on the third board. Is Fujairah still pushing for an attack? And we see there was no move played.
Yeah, and I believe Pranav Anand will spend all his time, because he needs to find something, yeah. Maybe you just go for some crazy position. I don't know, just sacrifice a piece just to have some chances. Otherwise, you just resign.
Okay. Meanwhile, we have still other boards below. Maybe we should go to the. By the way, board of Nihal, board number 8. Maybe let's go down there and see what has happened, because I remember.
Yeah, around here.
We were talking that we might. At some moment, we were talking we might like black more, but after this nice trade and sacrifice of the pawn.
Queen to a3 and e4. I was expecting e4 here with c5 idea. Well, this looks very natural to me.
Looks very natural.
Yeah, you
just
play.
Continue pressing.
And also you got the very nice square for the queen on
and
e3.
Black is not in time to play queen c5.
Yeah. Okay. Queen b2 anyway. Queen f5 and queen takes pawn. Yeah. Okay. Risky. Giving black some counterplay here.
Materialistic approach.
Yeah. Queen to b1 back. Well, but black could take the pawn. No check. Patzer see a check. Patzer gives this check. And rook g6. And if rook to g1, then maybe something like rook g3. And if you take the pawn, I was thinking that, can I give you perpetual? No perpetual, yeah. I was thinking that I have, no, not perpetual in this position.
Not yet. I was trying to make it with rook g2, but unfortunately there is no f4 square. So
there is no f4 square, yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Okay, and if black take the pawn, then takes the pawn, then queen takes c7. And now maybe rook g2.
Now rook g2, by the way, king takes...
g2 or g3? g2, yeah?
Okay,
probably
king...
King takes g2, and now
we
give perpetual, yeah?
Apparently,
wow.
Okay.
And if rook takes, queen h3, king g1, queen e3, rook f2.
And king is
and probably queen g5, king f1, queen c1, king e2. And you know what? Probably white sacrifices this rook at some point and just trying to yeah, to bring the king into play like this, king f5, queen takes f2 and king e6, and again, yeah, number of pawns are not important. I mean, it's white is just more advanced.
The quality of the pawns.
Yeah, the quality, yeah, so just to push the pawn d.
Yeah, definitely. So what happened in the game? It was...
yeah, and the queen b1, e4, and queen to
back.
c2. This is the current situation. So if queen takes h3, then probably queen takes e4. Yeah, this is Nikhil Sarin's idea.
Just defending everything and having such a strong power in the center.
Yeah. So probably black. I mean, he did take, yeah, on h3. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened.
It happened, yeah. So queen h3, queen takes e4, and white is...
Yeah, Nikhil Sarin is reaching for a move. And it looks like he's looking at the pawn on e4. No, he plays queen f2.
Wow.
He plays queen f2. Is there some threat on f8, or what did he do?
Why? I mean, here queen f2,
yes,
really?
Queen f2.
Yeah, queen f2. Well. What's going on? Queen takes e4.
What we don't see. He saw some ghosts. What do you think?
Yes.
But he also played the move with 3 seconds on the clock. Look at
so
this.
maybe rook g4. Rook g4. He might be not...
But then there is a queen c2 at least. There is
queen
a
e3 check. And
okay, and what if queen e8 and rook a2?
Wow, but this is not an easy move to find. And rook a2, yeah, and probably something like queen to g3. Now black's activity is okay, just enough. I mean, look, queen e1 check, rook h4 is so many threats here.
But wait a second, is rook take? If we go back to the rook e4.
We go back to rook e4 to rook g4.
Rook g4, sorry, rook e4 is not a threat because the queen is hanging on h3.
Good point.
So what about some rook e1 or?
And then pawn c4 hangs.
Or maybe some rook b1, activity of the rook.
And then I take on c4. Make cool blood c5. I don't. I don't believe. Of course, I don't believe in this move. And probably not. But
maybe d6.
Well, d6 looks like c takes pawn. C takes d6
and then maybe check and on a8 and remaining on this diagonal.
We are missing something here. And of course, Nikhil Sarin missed as well. I mean, with seconds on the...
Maybe rook f1, rook f1, rook b1.
Rook f1, I take on e4, take on h3, take on c4.
Then just defend rook c1 maybe. I don't know.
Rook to c1, wow. If this is the move, then it's...
No.
This is so hard. Then probably here rook takes g2 and queen takes c3. Okay.
Maybe rook e1. Idea is rook e4 takes rook c4 e4. No.
Okay. If this is the solution, then this is this is very complicated game. This is very hard game. I mean, yeah. Okay, this might be, but it's possible. But once again, so
rook g4.
Yeah, and this variation rook takes g.
Some move. It's not a king move because king f1, queen h1 check, king f2, queen h4 check. So king cannot move, queen cannot move, pawns cannot move.
Pawns can move so theoretically, but
but we checked c5 and d6. But rook. So it should be rook move.
Rook to b1, rook e4, take the queen, and rook takes c4. Why that one should be better for white?
Maybe rook b8, rook a8, taking the pawn on a6. Going into this endgame?
Wow.
I don't know.
So rook to b1. Okay.
Trying.
And this is the move.
Really?
Yes.
And this is
amazing. Takes, check, king h7 and rook a8.
And going for this
endgame, yeah, which might be winning or might be not. I mean,
also computer is not sure. It was jumping first up, then down.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, it was so hard, yeah, with seconds on the board. I mean, instead, Nikhil Sarin played the move queen to f2, queen g4, rook f1, rook f6, and queen to d2.
Apparently, rook f6, another mistake for some reason.
No,
Looks
no,
logical move.
yeah, but this is so hard to.
I mean, if computer considers all these options, it's really tough to see.
Queen to d2, rook f1. Going to this game, by the way, this is not a very good decision, I believe. Take, and imagine the queen centralized on d4, then white just pushes the pawn with c5 and d6.
And e4 will be a weakness.
I mean, why do you change your active rook? I mean, the rook on g6, which is attacking, for the passive rook f1.
Rook on the pawn is passive.
Yeah, I mean, just push the pawn h. If you don't know what to do, you push the pawns. I mean, okay, here, let's say.
Also, he has more time on the clock, so
Yeah.
he just continue pushing in the position.
h5, h4, I don't know. Okay, so instead, he went for this endgame. King to g1. Yeah, king to g1 was played. And the queen d4. By the way, you cannot stop my move, queen d4, because if you try with queen e5, anyway, queen d4 is coming. And then c5, d6, and
Yeah, this is what we
yeah.
are having. So, yeah, this is the current position. King g1. Yeah, looks like some big pressure from white in the.
Probably it's time to bring the king into the game. But
Maybe
it's
not
not
on
so
time.
easy, yeah? King f7.
Can we go d6 or c6?
d6 takes d6, c6. No. Well, once again, maybe queen f2, but
There could
pawns on game is so difficult to calculate. I mean, you never know. Might be losing, might be winning.
yeah, because there is not enough time.
Yeah. Okay, probably white can play here, let's say, queen d4 move, centralizing the queen. You cannot bring your king because g7 hangs. And now white is ready to push.
And also queen is pinned to the defense of the pawn on e4.
Yeah. So
Hard.
this is...
Okay, we have also other games ongoing. So what do you think? Let's go to the board number 2 probably to see how Motilov is doing, because there was a very tough position earlier and okay, it's still tough.
Well, there is only one hope for white. If white manages to take the pawn on a7, sacrifice the pawn for this, for the people, and then trying to organize here passers, two passers against rook. But I don't believe this is realistic. I mean, black can just play here rook c7 and game over.
I'm so sorry. Let's go to the board number 3. We have a result. It's Sugirov who won against Anand Pranav.
And by the way, it happened.
Oh, the final touch, h4.
Takes, knight takes g4, e5, piece up, but it's not only about the piece. White's pieces are dominating. Knight h5. So it's a rook up.
Just game
Well,
over.
yeah, good game for Sugirov. Good game for Sugirov. I mean, he found all these beautiful ideas like c4 move and then d4, sacrificing the pawn, bringing the queen for on this long diagonal, and finally the move g4 and h4. Yeah.
Truly amazing, and he's the person who is joining the lead. So it's so interesting. After the second round, we had only 3 leaders. Now we are going to have, let's count, Pranav V, Suleiman Aydin, Sugirov Thanan, Andrew Hong, Brandon Jacobson.
And I believe, and also
Jose Martinez.
Jose Martinez will join the group. Will join the group. I mean, just okay.
Let's go back to the board number 2. Just
okay.
continue.
It's game over. I mean, okay. White is trying to play for tricks. I mean, if you play b3, rook c1 check. Be careful. It's always trick. Okay, but king b5 followed by a5. You push 2 pawns. I mean, the game is over. The game is over. Just don't blunder the piece, the rook. I mean.
So then maybe, since there is nothing more interesting on the top boards and many games finished, let's move on to the Michal's game one more time, to the board 8, because I believe that's where we can still find some ideas, because Michal is pushing for a win. Computer is very much impressed with the position, but is there a way for...
Queen b2, queen b4 actually is, the threat is perpetual. So if you play a move like c5, which looks very natural, after queen e1, we see this perpetual, queen h4, queen e1. So king h2, prophylactic, queen d6, check. And here white can just play king h3, in my opinion. King h3, queen d7 check, and g4. And g4, no, g4 is not very precise. Yeah, I'll just bring the king, yeah? King to g3, queen d6 check and king f2. Yeah, improving the king. Queen f6 is just losing because black is not in time to...
Yeah, this is a different endgame because...
Yeah.
Because when there is a pawn on g file, then there is still opportunity to create a passer, but here, no. And king is too far.
Just very concrete, yeah. So no queen f6, and then white is just slowly or winning the pawn, whether white is winning the pawn on e4 or just push c5, d6, and black is not in time. Black is not
Looks
in
like
time.
a win. And maybe let's go through the just the boards a bit to see the results, because I see that there are many results there. So Alan Pichon managed to get a draw against Sam Shankland, but he was very, very low on time. You remember this?
Yeah.
He managed to get that. Other than that, I see that Dubin won against Darda, and Aditya Mittal won against Grebnev. Nicholas Theodorou scores a victory against Kacper Perun. And look at this, Ivanchuk is losing against
Once
Gergely
again,
Canton.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's take a look what happened in the game.
Yeah, poor
of the legend.
Vasily. So we have this Meran, anti-Meran, I don't know how they call it, c5, and knight b6. Okay, so we have this typical position with hanging pawns. Knight g5, Vasily in a very aggressive mood. g3, h6. Knight to h3, yeah. Takes, and queen c6.
Oh,
and knight g4, okay.
It backfired, you cannot take, there is checkmate, pawn on e3 is hanging. Oh,
Yeah.
toughness.
Aha, okay, small trick, because knight e3, queen c3. But still, yeah, takes, and knight f5, and g4. A g4.
Look at this.
G4, knight d4, yeah. Okay, knight d6. Trying to complicate things, but knight d4, wow. A great move for Cantor Gergely. Takes, and queen c5, very important move. And there is just exchange up for black and...
Not much compensation.
Yeah, not even a pawn, and after c5, knight d7, just resigning.
Yeah, it's definitely very tough for Vasily, but of course the tournament is super strong. So many strong players here in the field, so definitely a tough challenge. Probably let's get back to where should we go? Maybe board 2, just to see what changed.
I think it's just resignation. I don't believe they are continuing to play.
Really?
No, they are still playing.
Still playing.
Okay,
Who
but
is thinking? It's Jose Martinez.
but okay.
Okay, he's trying to find a way to escape this threat. Okay, rook b7, you can go.
King b5, rook b7, king b3, okay. King to d3, okay. It's a matter of taste. Yeah, you can just...
and just b3, b2, I mean, there is not much to do. And Motilov has only 1 minute on the clock, and it's
here, it's not about time.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, so just resigning. And we have, let's go back to Michal Sarin.
Let's go.
Wow, and here once again, look, it was winning for him, and after g4, so g4, so g4 is an accuracy, because you have this f3 square.
And then suddenly queen will be able to enter.
So instead of playing king g3, king f2, bringing the king, and g4, queen e7, c5, and queen e8. Probably he missed this one. And queen takes c4, queen c5, and no pass pawn for white. Okay, white can create another pass pawn, by the way, by pushing e pawn.
Yes.
No,
but
white,
it's a different story.
No, but white is still better, by the way. I mean, practically. Let's say a move like queen e6.
What happens if black is taking on?
Yes, and here I'll give you another pawn. I need this diagonal for the king.
For a king, yeah.
The way for the king, yeah. You take this pawn and I push e4. And despite of the evaluation,
4, yeah.
Despite of the evaluation, I believe here white is better. Or first king g4, I don't know. Maybe king g4 is more precise. And also
now there is no way also to defend the pawn on g5.
Pawn is not important. White wants to infiltrate with the king. Yeah, let's say king f5, king g6, right?
And checkmate.
And checkmate, yeah. And checkmate.
Oh,
Yes.
by the way, we have a result. Let's move on to the position.
Yeah, they agreed to a draw, yeah?
Queen e8 was played and the draw offer. What a game! I mean, there was a huge chance for Niklesh in this game to win, but one more time, one of the moments were very crazy. He had to keep his queen hanging, and had like very little time on the clock. And at the end, he had still chance to push, but this g4 spoiled the winning chances.
Yeah, but okay, it's so hard to be precise. I mean, with this, I mean, seconds on the clock, and yeah, and can we check board number 7?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we have the game Muradli with Menta Batabe.
I will put now the camera of the board number 2 because we don't have the camera on the 7th board, but maybe we can see them. I'll try. No, we don't.
Yeah, Muradli. Okay,
anyway, we will look at
I mean, it's about equal, but white is still a pawn up. His king is exposed.
And he's playing on the last seconds. He's playing on the increment, 30 seconds.
Okay, it's okay. Here, anything can happen.
Look at these bishops. Look at the knight on f5. I mean, both kings are open.
Yeah.
Like rook g6 is a threat.
Yeah. I don't know. Can black just ignore all the threats and play rook to d8? You know, when in this kind of position, you just make a move and hope that opponents will just lose on time.
Out of shock. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So rook takes g6, and now king h7. There is I missed rook h6 move.
Oh.
I missed that check. Yeah. So let's say king h7, rook h6 check, and this is probably bad for black. Okay, I don't know why exactly. Okay, king g8 back. Bishop f7, king f7. Oh, I don't know. Why this is +5 for white? The bishop hangs on b6, yeah, in some lines.
Okay, bishop is also hanging right now. Of course, d5 bishop is also.
Bishop c3. Everything is just hanging. And if queen e3, knight e3, you have queen e3.
Wait. Oh.
And you take on
cannot
e3
take with the queen,
and
there
then
is checkmate.
Okay.
And if you take with the bishop, then you take the
queen, and then you have material up. Okay, this is the current position. The position is full of tactics. Everything hangs. I mean, okay. This is like the ideal position to play with long time. Yeah, just okay, you have to have good nerves to play here. And Matulov is not resigning. Yeah?
Not resigning yet. Yeah, we still have there. Maybe just to briefly see the position, what is going on there.
No changes.
No,
I mean.
But okay, pawns are improving, pawns are promoting. Let's maybe just scroll the boards to see the results. What else do we have? So there was a draw between Raun Aksadvani and Ivan Zemlyansky. This result.
Pranav managed to win against Liu Shanglei.
Oh wow!
That's
That's huge. And we still have Sina Mowahed, the young grandmaster from Iran, playing against Luke Leon Mandonka.
And black is pawn up in this game, but white is active, yeah. And
white is very active, and c-pawn is dangerous.
C-pawn is dangerous, yeah. Okay, it's probably a good compensation for the pawn. And what do we have? Let's say on lower. Okay, if you can say lower boards, yeah.
All the players are top players here at the Fujairah Global Chess Championship in the superstars.
Daneshwar Bardia won his game against Kozak Adam. Okay.
Impressive. Yeah, and the rest games are still ongoing. Yuri Kuzubov against Farhat, yeah.
And black is a couple of pawns up. Okay, only one, but d4 is lost. Then f3 is...
All pawns somehow are isolated from each other.
Yeah, so you take on c6, knight takes d4, black is winning. This black is just winning on this position.
Definitely, yeah.
So Alexander Motilov is keep fighting, but no hopes. Here, no hopes. I mean,
yeah, no hope for him, but
No.
also we see now pawn is already on b2, now pawn is coming to a3, a2, and the game will be over. Once the pawn advances to f7, black can even take rook f7 and just promote. We have a resignation this moment. Jose Martinez is winning the game against Alexander Motilov, and he is joining the leaders. So we have now, let's count one more, I think 6 of them. So
Yeah.
we have Pranav, yeah.
Suleiman Lee,
Yes.
Martinez, and then we have Sugirov, Hong, and Jacobson Brandon.
Yeah. Such a nice field of the leaders.
Yes, six players. They are 2.5 out of 3. Probably they will play each other in round 4.
Yes, exactly, 6 players,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's perfect. And with the colors, I'm just trying to figure out, yeah, okay, they have black, white, yeah. So all the colors are there definitely, and yeah, amazing round, yeah. So we still have some of the games ongoing, but since we don't have cameras on those boards and they're not so important for the top players, and let's not forget, we still have one more round in the afternoon. So let's save our energy before that. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching. And Viral, for you, probably some last words about this round.
Well, except the board 1, all the games are, wow, it's just on fire. And you know, one small detail, black is much more successful in this round, was much more successful. So black won majority of the games, like scoring, I don't know, maybe 60% of wins. This is like impressive. It shows big fights. I mean, okay, I would like to mention one more time the game of Saddam.
Yes.
This rook sacrifice, a brilliant attack, and all the rest of the games. I mean, it's just amazing chess. I like very much till now. Wow, it's just. I mean, it's just a pleasure to watch the games, the players. They are all in very fighting mood, and let's hope that the evening round will be as spectacular as the morning. And yeah, let's hope that for a very spectacular games.
Yeah, truly, I just sign under each word of what Viral you just said. Amazing round despite the morning and being so early. So we'll have the round number 4 of Fujairah Global Chess Championship, the first edition here in United Arab Emirates, starting at 6 p.m. local time. So it's 4 p.m. Central European time, in case you are in Europe right now, and you just have to check your time zone for the rest locations. But we are going to be here with even more action from Fujairah. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.